5, 4,
Cool.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Hello,
Blast
and
off.
welcome back to the Full Cab Podcast, episode 147. Yeah, it's been a while since,
Or episode 8,
or
whichever
episode
comes
8.
first.
Whichever comes first. I'm pretty sure 147 does, though. But
Might
yeah,
want to double check that.
this
Probably.
is a podcast. My name is Blue, and joining me are two other guests who are not Nacho, because he's lame.
Based.
True.
Um, I'm Promise. Prom 15E. This is my Twitter. Follow it. Um, I hit GM last night, so I guess I'm cool. That's
Yeah,
about it.
woo!
Does that make you
Woo!
cool, or does that make you
Don't
not
don't
even
answer.
cool?
Don't say the second.
Hello, I'm King L5. I am most notably a Pokemon player and Bloons Tower Defense player, but I like Overwatch League.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we're just gonna. So, fun fact:
I also
all
got a cool hat.
three of us went to the grand finals in Anaheim. It
Yes.
was
In
a
Tokyo.
lot of no. It was in Anaheim. I think.
Oh,
Which which
I
which which one's in
I don't think I
Japan?
went to the grand finals. I don't
Oh,
think I
I
went to the
went to
same
the
finals
wrong
as you.
one. I think. I don't know. But yeah,
This guy
so
might be stupid. It's
A little
possible.
bit.
Yeah.
maybe a little
Comes with
bit.
being GM, I guess. I wouldn't know.
Happens.
But yeah.
Yeah, we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pog.
Yeah.
In person.
Wednesday, day before, met up, got Borger very good, and milkshake,
Yeah.
very pog.
Very pogger.
And then Thursday and Friday, yeah, went to the
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
We watched Overwatch League matches live from the
Wow,
Anaheim Convention Center.
that's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, we sat in the same seats, both days, and we were just yelling the whole time. My throat hurted.
Yeah. And
It
then
was
he
great.
went to the venue.
And then I went to the
Yeah, we shared a hotel room, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, L5 and I now share a brain cell. It's quite unfortunate. I don't know for who, but it's unfortunate.
For me. Anyways.
Anyways, yeah, so why don't we just go across playoffs? We don't have to go too in depth, but this is what happened
Mhm.
going up to the the live game. So all of them, the meta turned out to be Sojourn, Reaper, Winton, Kiriko, and Lucio. So it was not an off tank meta like we probably thought.
It
Yeah.
was not.
This
So
is
from what I hear, in scrims, it was a lot of Winston Tracer with the Sojourn to begin with the Kirko Lucio, and then Dallas showed up with the Reaper and played a completely different style, and it just kind of like
That's what
hard
I heard too.
countered.
yeah.
So everyone was like, "Oh, we gotta jump on this new comp really fast," because it was like a few days before playoffs started, and this comp was just so powerful, and so everyone just took it and ran with it.
I
So there wasn't
also
really much time to like counter comp that or anything. They didn't want to risk it because, literally
It's so
elimination
close.
matches the next day,
Yeah.
just run with it.
what also kind of sucks is the playing teams, which were Florida and Toronto. They only had like
A few
3
days.
days
Florida,
or
Toronto,
something
and
to
Spark.
figuring out.
It's kind of
Spark were
ridiculous from
too.
a competitive integrity standpoint. Like, brand new meta, brand new patch,
I
and
mean,
you're going
Spark had a
into
bit more time to be
end of
fair, but
season.
they also had to account for the long travel. Like, well, every team traveled. Well,
Yeah.
It's not
most of
like they
them.
got the patch
Yeah.
early or anything. They all got it at the same time.
Yeah. But I mean, what I found kind of whack was the play-in patch wasn't the playoff patch, so it's like you're kind of preparing for two
Hmm.
things. I don't know. I
Yeah.
I didn't like that as much. But
Yeah.
yeah. So the first game it was London versus Philly. It was a 3-0 by London. Kind of a roll.
Rolled and
Yeah.
smoked my
And then the
doggies.
next game, which I don't think
That was
anyone
Carpe's last match.
expected. Oh
This
yeah,
is where all of the pick'em brackets got boomed
yeah.
immediately.
Shanghai loses to Spark
3-0, by the
3-0,
way.
and
Not close.
yeah, it was just
Goddamn.
weird.
The best way to say it is that and it happens out the rest of the tournament. Shy is him.
Yeah, Shy is him.
Try as John
The
Sojourn.
the next game is
Official.
Florida versus Atlanta, and Florida, despite only having like
Don't talk about
they
this
only
one,
have
please.
like 3 scrims or something like that. Like they didn't have much preparation time on this patch. They 3-0 Atlanta. And
Mhm.
then
Let it
Houston,
rain. Woo.
the final game of the day is Houston 3-0ing Toronto. So a lot of 3-0 Overwatch.
Yeah.
The
Three
Spark and
over.
the Mayhem winning kind of boomed a lot of brackets. Unfortunate.
Especially in the
Mhm.
way that they did.
Yeah. So for the next day of games, the Fuel, the number 1 seed, ended up picking the Spark. The Shock, the 2 seed, ended up picking the Outlaws. The 3 seed Glads ended up picking the Spitfire, and then the 4 seeded Dynasty ended up picking the Mayhem. So how the second day went was the first game was Fuel vs Spark. That was a 3-1. So not a 3 Overwatch. We finally got to see the new map, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, for
Yeah.
once.
Esperanza.
Esperanza. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Also, fuel on push.
Yeah, Fuel
Got
on push
Ooh,
and
everything.
everything.
yeah.
Next we got Seoul versus Florida. It was a 3-0 for Seoul. Seoul was kind of,
The better team.
that's their team. Then we got Shock versus Outlaws. That was a 3-2 win from the Outlaws.
Really good match.
It was a
Yeah.
5 map giga banger. I don't think anyone I think
Dante.
people knew that like the Outlaws, could be good, but they turned out to be very scary in this patch.
For me in this tourney, this is where I'm like, Dante's the real deal.
Yeah, like Dante was destroying Mikey and then
Yeah.
Kaluge on the Winston. Like
Like,
he was
Reminds me of like in the middle of the season, how Muse picked up Doomfist and he like
hmm
absolutely giga pounded in that one match.
yeah,
And
just that
then
one
in the
match.
interview, uh after the match, he was like, "Yeah, I picked up Doom like 3 days ago."
Yeah.
yeah.
And and
Never
then
played it before in my life.
I think
And
by
Dante's doing the same thing on the monkey.
I think after the Houston Shock game, I think that's when all of the brackets technically were eliminated. So whoever predicted 3-0 on the first 6 games, right? Props
Good
to you,
job.
honestly. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
insane. And then if Shock Outlaws didn't ruin your bracket, the London Spitfire defeat the Los
Here,
Angeles Gladiators 3-1. You know,
This
goddamn.
was this was not a close series,
yeah,
really.
unlike the other one, this honestly like the Ryan one trick team, yeah, it doesn't look like the Ryan one
They
tricks.
did not play Ryan, and
Yeah,
it did not matter.
it
It
did
did
not
not
matter.
matter.
London is a very strong team, but yeah. So next day of games, this is where teams finally get eliminated because it's double elim. We have Glads defeating the Fusion 3-1. The first, I believe Fusion won the first map, and then Glads kind of just took over from there. Glads kind of did this thing through the tournament where they wanted Kevster on the Sojourn and then Happy on the Reaper, and then they
For
traded.
some reason.
And it was just really weird. I kind of understand like, hey, Kevster's your best player, and you want your carry player to be the Sojourn in this meta, as proven by a
That's
lot
the
of
most
other
important
teams.
role.
Yeah, it's the most like impactful role. I get that, but Happy's so good at Sojourn, and it's not like Kevster's a like if you slap Kevster on Reaper, he's still Kevster. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, I think Gladiators were one of the teams that stuck with the Tracer in scrims for longer than other teams, so they
Yeah,
weren't as practiced with the Reaper comp, and so they didn't have anything figured out. Even like who's playing what, they didn't have that figured out.
yeah,
So they were kind of experimenting during the games, which was tough.
yeah. And then the next game we have the Shock versus the Dragons, which is a 3-1 win for Shock. That was a honestly, besides the second map, which the Dragons did, or okay, Dragons didn't take it. Lip took it. Lip wanted that map.
Yeah.
He took Eichenwald, but I'd say the Shock kind of looked dominant on the other 3
Yeah,
maps.
this was a nice game to watch, though, I think.
Yeah,
Like one of the more like high-skilled matches in
yeah.
the
You wouldn't expect
tournament.
it. Like I think we all expected Shock for Shanghai at some point. I don't think we expected it in losers round 1. And then
Yeah,
to add on to insult, the winner of that plays the winner, potentially the LA Gladiators, who won the first 2 tournaments
this
this
was
year.
the gauntlet.
Yeah. Next we have Florida. They beat Rain. They dropped down after losing to Seoul to face the Rain. As you can see, a resident
I've seen
Rain
this one
fan.
before.
Let it woo!
Yeah, Gators subbed in for this. Yeah, they
I'm gonna be
like.
real. I opened Twitter like 20 minutes for the match, and Rain posted a GIF of Gator pointing to the back of his jersey, and I'm like, this is gonna
Uh-oh.
be Rain are gonna dominate or they're gonna lose.
And it's going to be a body bag one way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which honestly, like 3-1, I'd say Atlanta had their moments. Florida just,
I think they also switched to Nero Reaper full time, if I remember correctly.
Well, so
They
the
did,
first
yeah.
game, the first game they played like Ryan on like Lee Jong and stuff. It was speedily like he brought out Echo Bastion stuff. It was weird. And Nero's Reaper's really good. Honestly, that didn't look like an issue at all.
The
I'm gonna be honest.
Bastion.
Yeah. And then the final match
Who else pulled out the Bastion? I don't remember who it was, but I know someone else did.
Backbone.
was Backbone.
Backbone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
London, yeah.
yeah. The fourth game
Yeah.
though, which honestly was such a good game. Spark versus Defiant is a 3-2 win from
Yeah.
the Spark. That was such a close series. Like, man, Shy is really good at Overwatch.
Yeah.
Anyways, we go to the next day. Shock versus Glads. This is the day we were all driving.
Yeah, this was
To
travel day.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
So we caught the end part of it. Got to watch it in the hotel room.
Yeah, I had it playing in the car.
Yeah.
With
Shock defeat the
you and Mommy.
Glads 3-1. This was a pretty good series, I will say.
Didn't expect either of these teams to
We-
be
we
here at
haven't-
this point, though.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Shock and how they've like got through it. Proper's very good at Sojourn. He didn't really play at the first 3 stages or anything. Well, obviously you camped the first one, but they played Kilo and Sam on the Sojourn mostly because Proper would be on like Tracer or Genji or whatever. Proper's a good Sojourn.
He clicked ahead.
He's very good.
He's very smart how he plays too.
Yeah.
And
He plays super aggressive, like to the very edge of what he can get away with versus whatever team.
I think it's
Like, he'll push
something
the envelope.
that just throughout this tournament, Shock play around Proper, and it's something that other teams recognize, but some couldn't stop it. So next game we have Spark versus Mayhem. This was a 3-win from the Spark, so sadly the Mayhem had to fall here. But
Yeah.
once again, Shy, that guy. Yeah.
I will say though, what a
Good player.
tournament from Hydron.
Oh,
that guy-
Hydron
Yeah,
is
that guy.
so
That guy is
He
so
did
good, man.
Also, Ham, someone on the Winston, he is so good.
Yeah. I feel like Hydron and someone is like 90% of a Shy Gushue.
Oh,
You know?
Also, the checkmate, like
Checkmate.
he has a
Checkmate
spot next
Reaper?
year. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. He popped off as
And then
well.
we go to the winner's side. We have Fuel versus Soul. This could
Everyone
be a potential
expected this to be a
finals
giga
matchup. And
Said whoever
Fuel
wins this wins the tourney.
absolutely destroyed.
Oh, they were
Soul.
right.
They
I was right. Whoever-
absolutely destroyed the Soul Dynasty 3-0.
Yeah.
Oh my, like
Dude, Smurf
Oh.
tried.
Smurf
Whoever
It
wins
honestly
was
this
not
wins the tourney.
close to enough.
the hive mind of the Fuel. And then,
Yeah.
the winner semifinals, for a chance or to secure at least a top 3 placing. We have the Houston Outlaws and the London Spitfire. No one was expecting
Who?
these two. Like,
Right?
that's kind of crazy. Houston takes it 3-0. London did put up a fight, but unfortunately had to fall to Houston there.
Yeah. Unfortunately gapped by the Dante Winton.
The
Yeah.
Don Tank.
So
Yeah,
then we go
unironic,
to
by the way.
Thursday. This is the in live games, right? So first one,
Here we
we're all sitting in the stadium. Shock vs Soul Dynasty. Profit
Smurf, no.
Profit comes out on the Kiriko, and
The first 2 maps.
Oh yeah.
for the first 2 maps, I don't like. They kind of talked about it on the broadcast where like, oh, Iris he isn't having the impact on Kiriko, but when Prophet comes in, like he just was a heal bot. It felt like a little bit, and it's not like Stalker's a bad player or anything. Like he's kind of forcing the
Stalker
river.
did really well actually.
Yeah, I felt like Stalker did have a good game, but yeah,
Although I do feel bad. There is this one guy like across the stadium from us, and they had a really
Oh
big
my
sign that said
gosh.
#1 Iris fan.
Yeah. And we were like, oh, I hate to do that. But
Ah,
I remember going to the bathroom when the players walked out, and then I
yeah.
walked back in,
Yeah,
and
you
it took
missed
me like
it.
a minute to be like, wait,
Profits on
Profit's on
support?
gear, so he's on support?
Hey, yo.
yeah.
It was not worth it.
Which
Yeah.
I think the best part, the most iconic moment from that game was so Shock wipe everyone from the dynasty except Smurf in the tiny room in second point Dorado. But Smurf props primal, and you're like, oh, Smurf's throwing his ult. This is forces Violet to beat, right? And it becomes like a full-on fight. All of Dynasty respawns and everything. Kaluge has his primal, kills 4, and then types sit in the
Dude,
game chat.
legendary.
Like, hey, that's
That was
Shock's former tank. Dude, I'm the monkey now. Like,
Yeah.
man.
that was a really close fight too. Like that was like down to the wire that fight, and then
Yeah.
Kalush clutched it up and then just types sit.
Sit, yeah.
Was that versus Soul?
Yeah,
It was
that
versus
was in
Soul,
the
yeah.
small room on Dorado,
Yeah, small room
like
on
in the
Dorado.
church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one.
Okay. Next game we have the Spark versus the Spitfire. Unfortunately for the
Everyone was kind of
Spitfire,
joking about how this was time to get a snack, have a little break of the day.
yeah. Like, Spark take it 3-1. They just look like the better team. Shy's very good at Overwatch.
When I watched it, it was just, did Hottie effectively zone off Shy? If yes, London won the
Okay.
fight.
Okay,
Otherwise, London lost
I
the fight.
forgot which match it was, but Gushue throughout this tournament, there was one series, he had like 8 primal kills per 10. For reference, like, Fearless during the whole tournament averaged 3 or something.
Yeah.
The water
Spirit of
in
Anaheim.
Anaheim is different.
It does something magical
It does
for
something
him.
magical for Gushue. Then
Bushway of water.
next we go to the winners finals. This is the Fuel vs Outlaws, which honestly a battle for this is the biggest battle for Texas, and it's not even in Texas. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A Fuel
Crazy
take
that the Battle
this
for LA didn't happen.
3-1.
I remember the first map. Dude, Dallas should have won that so convincingly.
Yeah,
But Merritt just willed his team over the line.
yeah. I feel like with Outlaws,
Maybe the hardest
e-
carry
e-
performance of
even
the upper bracket.
everyone played well on the Outlaws. It felt like just the entire tournament. But Merritt is very, very good. Like it's just Sojourn.
Yeah.
I feel like, but it's such a it's a character you can notice and everything. Merritt's so good at Sojourn, man.
This whole season, he's been popping off on Sojourn.
Yeah,
I think relative to other Sojourns, he's slightly worse with like his pick potential. But mid fights, he just gets so much more value than
Yeah.
most Sojourns in the league. Which is
I
like
think you can
randomly
pretty
mid fight.
comfortably put him like top 4 Sojourn.
Yeah,
I'd
For sure.
I'd say the top 4 teams here might have the top. Maybe there's a Lip who got eliminated early, unfortunately, but
I think it's Lipshy proper Merritt.
yeah,
Kind of in that
Yeah.
order.
yeah, maybe. All right.
Dude, poor Lip. He only
And then
won one map this whole
the
tour.
4th game
or lit.
of the day was the losers semis, which is Shock versus Spark. This was a 3-1 for the Shock, and on I hate to be that guy, but the Shy show just had to come to an end. Proper
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I was
doing
matching
the thing.
proper, but I don't know. if the rest
Was
of Shy's
he?
team-
Was he?
Yeah, he definitely was.
He
but
was, yeah. He was good.
I don't know if the rest of the teams were matching each other.
Shock
I feel like, you know how Teru always takes the aggressive flanks?
yeah.
That really got punished this series.
Yeah,
The team just got kind of run over because
Yeah.
Shock plays so fast and aggressive. Like with their Winston bubble, proper slides in, uses that bubble, gets a pick. Like they all play super together as like a 5-man dive.
I think that's something to
It's
note
like-
with how the Shock played. They
Yeah.
were really aggressive when Mikey was in, and because it's kind
Yeah.
of like that's kind of their reasoning, I think, between hey, why are you subbing in Mikey and Kaluge? Kaluge is better at the more you have to kind of think payload, just draw out the fight and everything. Mikey's just
Kaluge is,
aggressive, go in,
Yeah.
kind of.
Kalusha's very like macro in his play,
Yeah.
like relatively speaking. Like he'll put his jump like where he thinks he should, to like get the most value out of Winston's kit,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Mikey, he's just the battering ram, He's the
Yeah.
engage. Everyone's gonna follow up. He might die, but
Yeah.
he's definitely making space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making space for
Yeah.
sure.
And that definitely works better on control, which is why you saw him in control the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And Kluge, the slower style works better with the payload maps because it's a lot slower pace. You can't really like jump ahead of the car. You have to wait for it to push.
Yeah. So, yeah, after that, everyone goes home. Yeah. Then we get to the final day of Overwatch League in the 2022 season, season 5, first season of Overwatch 2. We have Shock versus Outlaws, and the winner of that plays Fuel in a best of 7 series. The first game, Shock versus Outlaws, Shock
Outlaws gonna be close.
completely destroyed. It was.
Yeah. There was like one close map, I think, and it was Route
It was
66.
Route 66 because Shock were held at first point.
Second point.
Or
Second
second,
point.
yeah, between
Yeah.
they only got 1 point, but
Mhm.
I think it was after the second map. Proper had something like a 16 or 15 final blows per
I
10.
think it was 17 actually. I don't actually remember. I'm just
I think
pulling
it was
numbers
15
out.
for the match or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had like 17 final blows per 10. Like, excuse you? Yeah.
By the way, 10 is considered a lot. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the hardest carry performances across a series ever was Proper in that series.
I think there was a plat chat. They kind of reviewed it like the highest final blows in a match
Percentage.
per
Yeah.
10.
He had like the match deadlift, right? The first
Yeah,
ever.
it's something weird like that. But yeah, that was a dominant match
It was
from.
for 15. I remember because Shy had 2 of them.
Yeah. I remember that.
Mm.
Yeah. So, anyways, we have Shock versus Feel in the finals. Shock running it back after getting eliminated, or not eliminated, but getting knocked down to the
Knocked down.
losers bracket by Houston. Just going an absolute tear. Dallas, they dropped they've dropped like what 2 maps during the
Outlaws and who
Joe.
else?
yeah
Yeah, the Spark.
yeah
That's it.
Mhm.
and yeah, let's go across this. So the first match is Lijiang Tower, a Fuel match pick because they're the winning team. It was a 2-1. Fuel,
It
I'd
was
say
super close map.
it was close. Yes. Man, that was close. The second map, Shock take them to King's Row and actually get held right
It
before
was so
second
fire.
point.
Yeah.
But then the Shock have this immaculate defense with
Yeah. Textbook stuff.
yeah, they just beat them. Third map, it's Dorado, and this is 3-2 for the Shock. They just looked really strong on Dorado. Oh, something to note, actually. For the first 2 maps of the Houston series, in all of this series, actually, Mikey was the one who played for the Shock, and
Mhm.
yeah, people theorize like, well, it's to match, Dallas's aggression because Mikey's a really good dive tank compared to Kaluge and or anything, or maybe because like Mikey was feeling himself, and you kind of don't want to pull him out if like he's producing good results. Whatever the decision is, like that's what Krusty decided to do and everything. But yeah, that's just something to note. Then fourth map, it's Esperanza, Fuel. Have the map pick, and Fuel narrowly win this. Honestly, it was a close match.
Mhm.
To be
The
honest,
first 4 maps were all close. Like we could have seen a 4-0 either way,
yeah.
Yeah.
but we didn't. It was 2-2.
It was really close. I think it was it map 4 when who was it? Golden Boy started a wave in
Yeah.
it was in
Yeah.
the Anaheim Convention Center. It went on for
We
like
got our
10 minutes.
workout.
Dude, we were all like exhausted. Like,
He
man, I
said-
can't do this anymore. Like,
He said, "I
We were
want to
just,
start
like,
a wave."
Sitting back like,
yeah, like, yeah.
He said, "I want to start a wave before Esperanza."
Yeah.
And then we started the wave when he said it, when the break first started, and the wave didn't stop until teams walked out of spawn.
Yeah.
It
It
was
just
like,
kept going.
yeah, it was crazy.
Very stupid.
If you
Ma-
watch the broadcast, Matt's like, "Oh, they're still doing the wave.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're still going."
All right.
Yeah.
Map 5, Oasis. Shock take this 2-1, but I will say it feels like the momentum's shifting towards the Shock at this point. You know, they won 3 of the last 4 maps. They almost
Yeah.
won Esperanza.
In my mind, the map after this was the deciding map of the series because Dallas on push is just so unbeatable
Yeah.
and push is the
Yeah.
7th game.
Yes.
So I was really looking at map 6 for the Shock to win it all.
And
And
map 6,
yeah,
it's Route 66.
in the same place. Well, actually, Shock gets held a little bit earlier than where they did it versus Houston.
Houston, yeah. And
And we were like,
Fuel are able to
not
defeat
good.
them there. Go to map 7.
I remember on Route
This was not.
66, actually specifically, Chio won like two fights back to back by himself. Uh, what happened was Mikey was about to jump up to contest the high ground on second point, and he actually booped the monkey down, but the rest of Shock was playing as if they had a monkey bubble going up.
Yeah.
So the rest of them all just fed, because
Yeah.
they didn't expect Mikey to get booped down. Chio did that huge play, ended up getting like 2 picks off of that for free. They win that fight, and then the next fight, they went off a super clean beat engage or something. I don't remember exactly what he did, but I remember it was 2 fights in a row
Yeah.
where Chio actually had a stand-up performance.
I think something with like Fuel just across the series is they have that hive mind kind of thing, but they also recognize that from the Shock, it was proper who they were
The
playing
apex
around.
predator, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were times where Chio would get caught out, but honestly, I always thought it was like an okay play because if you're essentially trading yourself the Lucio 1-for-1 with the enemy Sojourn, as well as
with
the enemy Sojourn
proper.
being like the person
Not the enemy
that
sojourn, the energy
is kind of
the enemy proper.
yeah, just kind of
Yeah.
the focal point of the enemy team. Like Chio did get caught out. I actually thought he had a really solid series though, considering.
It was like definitely a choice that Dallas made to play aggressively towards proper, make it really
Yes.
difficult for him as hard as possible to actually kill everything. And he still popped off, man.
Yeah.
Even with Fearless primaling in his face on map 1, I remember there was one time Fearless jumps in, he's primaling proper around the map. He still kills 2 with overclock,
Yeah.
like in the middle of being juggled. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
I'm starting to question if it's even worth primaling a sojourn in the Overwatch League because you're just giving them new angles.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're primaling them into, you know. It
You're
does
in a
definitely
corner,
make
it's
it harder to shoot, but they still hit it, man.
exactly.
I feel like it's just their Overwatch League Sojourns. Like,
They
Yeah.
hit the shots.
They
yeah,
click at the head.
they hit those. Yeah. So we go to map 7. It's
It's just like me for real.
Coliseum, and
Fuel on push.
unlike the first push, unlike the first like 4 maps, I guess this was dominant from the Fuel.
Fuel, this was
Yeah.
like
They
top
knew
five.
what to do.
There was
Even
one moment where Shock could have had an advantage, but then Edison just randomly kills 2, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden the ult advantage they had like 3 ults to 0. You could have strung that to like 2 fights in a row, which on push is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And Edison just said no,
yeah,
and they managed to
Edison.
get their ult bank to recover,
Map
and then
6
Dallas
and
just
map 7, I
snowballed
felt
off
like
that.
Edison really stepped up.
Specifically
and
that map 7.
that-
That map
Edison
7
had like a performance of his life there, which
Yeah,
kudos to him, man.
yeah, he
That was
is.
awesome to
he is
watch, even though I'm
very
a Shock
good.
fan.
Yeah. And it's like I think there's this narrative going around that like Proper's carrying the Shock, which like I can see what people are trying to say, but I
Yes
felt
and
like
no.
the rest of Shock were still really, really good.
Yeah, it's not like they were holding him back, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like Proper was
Uh,
overcoming his team being like
Yes.
below
Finn's,
average.
Finn had
Like
a
for example,
very
Chengdu with Leave. Now that was
That was
Leave
okay.
carrying.
That's different. Yeah.
Last year, the
Yeah.
last year of Overwatch 1, that was like disgusting.
Yeah.
What that guy was doing that year.
But yeah.
Anyways,
Like Finn.
Kind of like what
Proper-
Shy did for his
I-
team this year.
yeah, Proper was definitely the best player in the lobby, like at all times
yeah.
for this whole tournament,
No contest.
except for maybe versus Lip, I'd say. Lip was like really strong in
Lip
that
was
series,
really
but
strong in
the
that
whole
series.
team was
yes.
better, so it
Yeah.
didn't matter. But outside of that, I feel like Proper was the best player in each lobby,
Mhm.
and like
And I feel
It's
like,
hard to say he's not carrying when that's the case, you know? But
yeah,
that's just who he is. He's the guy. He's him.
The
And
crazy
like
thing about
if you're
him is
shocked, you
that
take that, you know?
yeah, crazy thing about Proper is that you really just the maps that stand out for him aren't the maps where he goes crazy in. Are those are the like the 3, 4 maps this season where he didn't go crazy? That just stands out to me
Where
because
he got shut down, yeah.
yeah, where
yeah,
that cause that's the caliber of player that
Like
he
you
is. That
remember the grand finals of Summer Showdown, I think, versus
midseason,
Glads? Midseason? Yeah,
midseason,
that's the one.
yeah,
Versus Glads, where Kevster actually did end up getting the upper hand versus
yeah,
Proper in that series, and you remember that as like the one example from that half of the season where Proper wasn't
yeah.
the best player in the
yes,
lobby.
where Proper just
But
didn't have a
even
say.
still, towards
Even then,
like,
that's Kevster, bro.
yeah,
Yeah,
even still
And
though, like Proper
and
didn't
it's a bit of a
like
team
have a
diff. Yeah.
bad game.
that
It
wasn't
feels
exactly that
like,
wasn't Proper having a bad game. That was just him not
yeah,
deadlifting his team
not
again.
deadlifting his team entirely. Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah, I felt like the shock. It kind of felt it kind of like catered towards them, like Proper being able to carry. Because something I've noticed with Striker throughout his career is he always likes to take like this flanky style where he's able to not use abilities to really get into the backline and everything.
Yeah, he uses map geometry
Yeah,
instead of abilities, and then he still has the abilities online for when he needs them.
he's
It's
playing a
really smart.
Reaper like Tracer, if that makes sense.
A fat
Like,
tracer, yeah.
yeah, like a fat Tracer. Yeah, and like there were moments where he wasn't really building his ult as quick, but I felt like that was kind of fine because that was kind of what Shock wanted to happen, like him to, have this other angle, maybe force positioning errors so that the rest of Shock could punish it.
Yeah. I think if you're Shock, you want to create as many like separate threats as possible. You have Proper being the apex predator, right? You have Mikey playing super aggressive, making himself a threat. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like everyone has to look at Mikey when he's jumping in that far, you know.
Yeah,
Otherwise, he's just
Mhm.
going to kill the supports, you know. And then Striker going on a flank, trying to also pressure the supports, maybe get in to their face, you know. That's another threat that's being created. And then you saw a lot of beats from Violet being used to try to turn a 4v5. That's one of their
yeah.
main uses of beat, and it worked a lot of the time.
There were
So
times
being
where
able to
like
transfer those into team fight wins was super valuable.
there were
But
times when
like,
Proper would like he'd use his slide to engage just into the back line
yeah,
kind of, but
yeah, as
Violet
he
would
gets the beat,
beat
yeah, it's
and
all super coordinated, which was
yeah,
awesome to see.
yeah.
There
And
was a few times where like there was a really good Winston bubble by Fearless and Proper didn't get the beat, so it ended up being like a super scary play, you know? Because
yeah,
you're sliding in assuming the beat's coming, but then the bubble blocks it. You're like, oh no.
Fearless is that guy. I don't know, man.
Yeah. And sometimes he gets bailed out by the Kiriko E, you know, because Finn is also really good.
Something also
And then
about
sometimes, you know, he just feeds. But
Violet is
part
that
of the play style.
there were times where he'd be the first person in the match to build an ult, which I think just speaks to like how mechanically gifted he is, but also like I don't know. I don't want to call him a heal bot because he really wasn't. Like he was, getting damage and everything, but he'd be the first to beat usage. Like there were times where like he'd hold it and it'd be somewhat questionable. I felt like, but he's still a very strong player. So yeah, props to
Mhm.
the Shock for that. But I
I've
mean,
noticed the Shock like to, on like very first fights, they like to find some cover and kind of sit there and just like heal bot and then like look for a pick from Proper. You know, they'll
yeah,
play in a way where it gives Proper the opportunity to get the first pick while they have a bunch of cover. Like first point of Lijiang, it was what's it called? Not Night Market, not Control Center, the
Garden.
other one. Yeah, Garden. They always rolled out to the the like far side with the mega, you know, the little
Yeah,
room
yeah,
there, and they would shoot into the point while Dallas or whoever else they were playing took the point, and they would try to get a pick and then engage when the control point unlocks.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that was super successful. Like they won a lot of first fights by doing that, and they also charged their support ults really fast. So it was like a win-win there in terms of positioning. Another thing I noticed they like to flip map sides a lot whenever it's like a situation where the attackers are favored, but you're on defense. They flip the map, so now they're in the attacker's position. So they flip the map and they gain the advantage that way. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Also, like I just think it kind of fit towards Shock's playstyle the entire season. Like this sudden aggression, like them playing Mikey. There's a reason they kind of played Kaluge a lot of the regular season. Like they've always been like this kind of patient team, not as aggressive. They don't want to be the aggressors. They kind of just punish your mistakes. And so it was kind of good to see them like kind of incorporate that into their strategy for the finals, and just suddenly just engage on enemies. And I mean, it almost won them a final, so yeah.
Yeah.
Enough about Shock, though. Like, what do you guys think about Dallas? Just like, cause they end up being the champions. Like, Fearless is the MVP, which I
Mhm.
think there were so many people that could have won
I think
MVP on
Edison should have
Dallas.
won MVP. I'm gonna be real. I think it's cool for the story for Fearless.
Mhm.
0-40 Shanghai, season
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, Grand Finals MVP. But he was the better monkey, but I think a lot of the time Edison, maybe even like Chio, came up clutch in big moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see like a melee for performance from last season from Fearless this
Yeah.
tourney.
Mhm. Well, I know initially I agreed with you. I thought Edison got a little bit robbed, but thinking about it more, Fearless was the only person who managed to shut down proper in the
Yeah.
whole tournament. And that was really impressive,
Yeah.
you know?
I
So like I understand giving it to him.
yeah.
Chio is a bit of a harder sell for me. I think, yeah.
Chio was
Like
definitely
he had a
stretching. I
great
will say that.
series, but yeah,
I
you got to give it
actually
to the
kind
Monkey or
of
Sojourn, I
thought
feel. They're the most important roles.
I actually kind of thought it could just be support bias. Like
Fielder?
I thought I thought Fearless was going to win it because like as you said he shut down proper, but Fielder just in these comps where you kind of have a hive mind and Fielder it's not like he's a heal bot or anything. He's just really good at keeping his team alive. With
Mhm.
really well timed Suzus and
I really liked his ult usage, the Kitsune rush. He like the placement of all those was really strong, and he definitely had better ults than Finn in the whole series overall. Part of that was Dallas being really smart at disengaging the Kiriko ult when they didn't have it to mirror, or even if they did have it to mirror, they would back out, recognize they're at a disadvantage, then come back in later, like really strong with their own Kiriko ult, and Shock wasn't able to disengage fast enough. And so that won them a lot of fights just off of the Kiriko ult diff. I think Blue is a little bit preoccupied now.
Yeah. Let's do a recording. What do you want to talk about now? What else?
okay,
I'm not gonna.
sorry about that. I'm back now. Hello. Yeah.
Welcome
I'm not
back,
gonna stump
Wolfpack.
for the fuel.
Yeah,
Hardcore.
you are.
You want
Go
me
ahead,
to?
do it. Do
I can
it.
go fanboy a little bit.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
You burned it.
Edison. Edison looked crazy without the series. Again, even coming
Yeah.
close to matching proper is like an accomplishment in its own right because that guy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The fact too, especially on that Coliseum match, he just like picked it up to 11. Kind of,
Yeah, he definitely
he
carried the
ran that
last
lobby.
map.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
ran that lobby, and to have a performance like that after like riding the bench last season on Rain and then the season before having a middling season on the Rain is like outrageous. That
Nobody
this guy was
expected
just
this
gonna.
from Edison.
I
Yeah.
expected him to be an okay hit scan in the league, but
Mhm.
he showed himself as like an S tier. Not even alone in the finals, like on the Ash during Jotes when that was meta stage 3. He even on the Sojourn then he looked really good. It made
Yeah. He
you
did.
kind of question why Gurio was even considered to be on this team.
Ever since Fuel got eliminated by Philly, which is the only team to have played Dallas and not lose to them, by the way, this season, the Philadelphia
Yeah,
Fusion.
Shout out to the Lemon 3 core.
In the mid-season madness, Edison really stepped it up. But yeah. So now that we talked about that, let's go over the role stars and just the awards. So rookie of the year, let's go over that first. Think everyone
It's
saw it
proper.
coming. It's proper.
Far and away.
There's really no other like no other argument. I feel like
you wanted to be cute, you could vote for Merritt or Reiner, you know?
Yeah, we're
If you're like
like
super big fans of this team.
Zest
I know.
got like 6 votes or something. I know that.
Yeah.
And that was number 2.
Wasn't it like the Chinese broadcast team that really liked Zest? Or was it someone else?
I forgot
I know there was
who.
one region where Zest was their guy for their storylines.
It might have been China. I'm not too sure though.
I don't remember, but yeah, I know Zest was really hyped up.
Zest, yeah. So
Deserved, by the way. That guy's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Zest is
Yeah, he was not
nuts,
the
man.
problem.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Let's go over.
I think it's hard to honestly just say anything else about who else it could have been because no other player in the server had the same impact that Proper did throughout the entirety of the season.
For
Yeah.
Like,
rookies,
Let
for
alone
but
rookie.
rookies, yeah.
I don't even think just rookies.
I
Like,
mean, we'll
he
go
had.
through the MVP talk later, okay?
We're not
Okay.
there yet, man.
We're not there yet. You're
Okay,
okay.
okay,
All right. Okay.
Hey, you
okay,
want to talk
geez.
about MVP now?
Okay. So hold on. But let's go chronological. I
Yeah,
guess
we
for
will.
this. So
Mhm.
coach of the year, it actually was Christopher from the London Spitfire. I
Yeah.
100% believe that. Like even since stage
Honestly,
1 when like everyone, let's be honest, everyone had London as like a bottom 3 team in the entire league, just
Mhm.
flat up
uh,
with their
20th
roster
even.
going. Yeah, 20th, like 18th max.
2019 usually, yeah.
They
Yeah.
chose to keep Hottie going into the season
Yeah,
Yeah.
after what he did last season. Just let that be known. They chose to keep him on their roster.
and it
It paid
it
off.
worked out for them. Christopher's an amazing coach. Like, I think we saw that. Like, and all of his players like vouched for him. Like, yeah, this is the guy. There's even this thing of like, they'd be like in a Discord call, like screen sharing like strategies. Like, hey, what if we put Backbone on Zenyatta? And there's this one where it was them like drawing on a picture of Halo of Thoughts, just like going through like the bald head, Oleg, and everything. But
The
yeah,
Wiz.
well deserved for Christopher. Honorable mentions, honestly. Toby had a good year. I feel like for the Seoul
Yeah.
Toby
Dynasty.
He
did.
was able to get a stage
Yeah.
championship for Seoul, who hadn't won anything in their
Yeah,
entire history, despite trying very hard.
yeah. But despite like having such talented rosters,
Yeah. He's finally able to string it together there.
who else?
Would you throw Krusty in?
I'd say Krusty
He's
deserves some
never.
consideration. Like he's never won it, but I think we all know that Krusty
I feel like
is.
Krusty deserved the award before the award was a thing.
Yeah.
And now that the award's a thing, other coaches have kind of caught up to him
Yeah.
in terms of like
It's
impact.
kind of like projected like impact of the coach and like everything, like how much does that contrast from like the actual result, which
Yeah.
yeah,
Deepay.
Yeah, it's a good
uh
shout.
pretty good
I
show.
want to give huge props to Rush
Yeah, that
and
I was about,
Gunba.
yes,
Rush. Yeah.
those are the two.
Rush and Gunba.
Rush specifically, so like I know, oh, they're the first seed, whatever. Like Dallas was supposed to be good in
Yeah.
The winning
stage
team deserves a
1
nomination.
and stage 4. um those are two metas where Dallas really couldn't play the meta. Like during stage 1 it was like monkey and everything. They really couldn't play the meta, so they just stuck Hanbin on Zarya, and just Hanbin does this thing, and he's an MVP candidate for that. And like you could say like, well, Hanbin's the best Zarya. That big props to Rush, like figuring out what worked best for his team. And
I
this
think
kind of went to Gunba a little bit because during
Gunba too.
Jote's meta specifically, like, hey, this Lucio Brig, like, it's effective, but we're not going to really beat the top teams in it. So they bring out the Ana Zen, and that's very effective against
I know they
a lot
brought out
of
the
teams.
Pharah as well in some
Yeah.
matchups. They actually took a map off of Dallas by using the Pharah on Gibraltar, I remember.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
they figured
It was
things out for
impressive stuff. Yeah,
themselves.
they played their own style in the way that would make their chances of winning higher, you
Mhm.
know.
I
And
think the
also
best part you could.
the roster building for Florida was like super solid for their budget. I know they weren't a high spending org or anything.
Yeah. I
but they
think
were still super competitive.
I think Gumba said in his interview with Yeska, like, yeah, I don't really care about synergy. I'm just getting the most talented guys, and
Yeah,
we're just
we'll
gonna
figure it out
we'll
later,
figure
you know?
it out. And
Yeah.
it looks like they kind of figured it out. They made every tournament and
Someone is
everything.
him.
Yeah,
And the thing is, too, they
Hanson.
look like they were having fun too. Like
Yes,
that's the crazy
especially
part.
someone.
That's something to
Yeah,
note
His
someone had
with
pop offs.
fun.
that's something to know with every Coach of the Year candidate. I feel like London's atmosphere was really really strong, as well as Dallas.
Positive.
Like Dallas is like they had a really strong team atmosphere, and that's what we just like to see as fans. Like, hey, like all these players are actually enjoying their times on these teams. Like,
Yeah, they're not locked up in a dark room. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
getting you guys
have to share
practice
a
going.
bedroom. LA Valiant kind of thing.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with like the London guys, like even before games, they're like, yeah, we don't really expect to win. We're just here to have fun, and it's a
Win or
game,
lose,
having
have
fun with it, and it really worked out well for them this season. Next, let's just talk about it a little. Like, I don't really think this is an award you can like debate like, oh, this person should have won it, but the Dennis Havelka award, it ended up being Haughty, like jumping off the London stuff. For a sec, like, all that we learned about Haughty, and it's not just his impact as a player, because Haughty's the most improved player from last season to this
By a
season.
mile.
Yeah, it's not even close. Yeah, he was the most memed on main tank from last season, going to this level, like being
Arguably the worst.
yeah, being like an MVP
Well, second
candidate,
worst.
and just all of this, like, good for him, as well as like just being a good person throughout it. The workout stuff, the chatty memes and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Doing push-ups on stage.
oh
Very
yeah,
chat.
like that's great. I'm sorry, but yeah,
Legendary, honestly.
shout out to that. So, a fun fact. So they announced Haughty as the winner. Good for him. And a production moment though. As everyone's giving a round of applause on the big screen in Anaheim, they show a
Right above the
picture
stage.
of this player, and it says MVP, and it spoiled it for everyone in the arena.
In the arena, didn't get it. It didn't make it to broadcast.
It didn't make the broadcast. We saw that and we were like, "Oh, that sucks."
I remember the entire crowd collectively groaned, and I felt bad for Hadi because
So bad for
it
Hottie.
was
Yeah.
behind him and he didn't know.
Yeah,
And they were
It's
like,
like,
"Yeah, it's not you, bro. It's not you."
dude,
Yeah.
the way the arena was is that the players were under the big screen, and Hottie
Yeah.
had walked out where the players were standing,
hmm
so he can't see the screen, and it just flashes
think it
MVP
was-
proper as he's like getting up to the stage.
I think it was
Yeah.
Uber. Like during his interview with him, he just looks up and sees it and is like, "Okay, just go on." Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, going into the next thing, the MVP.
We're like, oh, who could it be?
Yeah,
Who
like,
could it be? They tried to hype it up, but the entire arena.
Yeah.
yeah, but it was proper. This was a
Kind
really
of
close
expected.
MVP race, though, must say.
Yeah.
And who the people like 3 votes behind him, I believe, were Hanbin and Kevster, and
I think
mean,
Kevster was second place.
yeah, and then Hanbin short behind. We had Lip up there, Profit up there. Smurf only got like 4. That's crazy to me still.
Yeah, it's
But-
criminal.
yeah, that like
He got 4, but look at the talent up there.
okay, yes, but you have a
I
guy.
think,
Smurf was the
honestly,
best overall
I
tank.
think
of the
Yes.
Smurf
season.
should have been above Hanbin, yes.
Yeah, I don't
But
think
still-
above Hanbin necessarily.
maybe.
I think that's arguable.
But
Like, it's up to.
You
I
have
can make an
to-
argument for it right now if you want me to.
I
Hmm?
I think
I
you
can make an
can
argument for
you
it.
can make that argument, I will say, but you have a guy who he's the only tank going into his team. Literally doesn't look weak on anything. Like, no, never played off tank at an Overwatch League level. Well, it didn't look like
Doesn't
it.
matter.
Like,
Didn't
it
matter.
didn't look like it. Like, wow, he was kind of
Yeah.
good, and yeah, he was a very strong player. But yeah, proper
His
MVP.
primals are crazy.
Just Smurf's monkey
Well, some of the
is still
best
top 3.
Winston
It's
mechanics in the league.
still top
Yeah.
3 easily in the entire
I
world.
saw a lot of people being like, "Oh yeah, I guess now Fearless is the best monkey ever." I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Smurf's
No,
right there, my guy.
Yeah. Like mechanically, Smurf is oh my gosh, he's
They don't
nasty.
touch the ground, bro. They don't.
Like the
they
the
don't
Florida
get
game,
a
like
chance.
Seoul versus Florida, Hydron. Like I think Seoul figured out like yeah, you stop Hydron, you kind of win versus Florida, and there are moments where Hydron did not touch the
And
ground. He
Dude,
just got juggled.
Smurf juggled Hydron from like the high ground of Ike B, like the little bridge that goes across,
Yeah,
from there to like the like where the castle is,
yeah,
outside of point A,
yeah. It was
like where that drawbridge opens up, not drawbridge, but the gate opens up when you cap, like to that location, like all the way across the map,
didn't
and he
touch the
didn't touch
ground.
the ground.
Didn't touch the
He's
ground.
just dead. Like, what are you
Dirty.
supposed to do,
Yeah,
bro?
unreal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't we just go across the role stars really quick? So for tank we have Reiner, Hanbin, Smurf, and Hottie. Uh, this was different from what we actually theorized it'd be.
Mhm.
I know we had.
I mean, Hanbin and Smurf are locks. Like,
I thought that was yeah no like no
Yeah,
brain. Uh, and it's not like Hottie and Reiner didn't deserve it. For the
they
first
didn't.
two stages, I felt like Reiner was the
Reiner
only
was
he was the only rookie I felt like who could contend with Proper for Rookie of the Year. Like that was the only
Yeah,
person
yeah,
who had a chance. He was the main tank for a team that or
went back
just
to back
tank
stages.
back to
Yeah,
back stages. His monkey was insane. Doomfist was insane.
and those are really important. Yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunately, fell off a bit, but he was very strong. Hottie, like we kind of went across him a bit earlier, but very strong tank player. He's not. He's literally not just a Ryan one trick. I think
No,
people
it's not.
realize that. Like Ryan's his best character. Like
But that doesn't take away from his other
yeah,
characters. They're
his
still
other
really good.
characters were very strong. Yeah, and yeah, helped out London a lot. But some who did we miss on? I think we picked Hawk
I,
too.
I think we picked Hawk in the end. Was
yeah,
the other one?
Who
I
did
also
not pick?
really wanted to see someone in
So,
this All
someone
Star.
definitely deserves a shout.
Yeah,
I know we talked about it last time, but like even Dante, like he's a tank now. He kind of played really well the entire season, no matter what tank he
Yet
was on.
which
Like
was
Dante
crazy for the DPS lane.
surpassed expectations more than anyone in the league in
I
the tank
agree.
role.
Yes.
Like you see him on tank on Doom, and you're like, I mean, that makes sense. You know, he played
Mirror did
Doom in
it.
the past. Yeah,
All these
Yeah.
tank
you've
players
seen
do,
this
or
from other
these.
players as well.
Yeah,
Then he pulled out like the monkey. He pulled out the Orisa, the hog,
The
the
diva, the
Jumper Queen.
Zarya,
he
like
played
Yeah,
it
the
all.
diva. Yeah,
He played a
yeah,
Zarya and dipped
dude,
Hanbin on it.
his diva was
But
so oppressive.
yeah. His diva was insane.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
he's just
you
good at
remember that?
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. There's just a lot of good tank players, man. So
Hmm.
many of them. So for supports, we have Shu, Izayaki, Fielder, and Chio.
Hmm.
I believe we all like we said Shu. I'm pretty sure that's the only
Yeah,
one
sure.
like in our
she's a
thing
lock.
that
Yeah,
we got correct technically. Like we had Twilight, Violet, and Vindame, I believe.
I know
Yeah,
Vindame was like criminal that he was not up there.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
Chio got 3 more votes than Violet and Vindame, who were tied for 5th place in the whole thing. And okay, honestly, I don't think Chio's the one who like shouldn't not be there. I thought Izayaki being there was a bit of a surprise. Like I know he was
Yeah,
yeah, on the brig specifically during the Jotes meta, like he showed his ability to flex over and everything. And I mean, let's be clear, Izayaki's an insane player. His Zen's probably still like top 2 in the league if we're being honest, but
mechanically at least.
a bit surprised. Fielder is someone we probably should have had. Fielder's just insane. That guy's
yeah.
different. Um,
I believe he has the best healing stats in the entire league.
yes. I thought it was funny, like during the roster presentation, it shows Fielder's honest stats, and it's like, hey, he's won in like everything healing wise, like whatever. The only thing he's not won in is like, and he's 12th in is like damage, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's
Yeah.
a support. Then they
He
bring
doesn't
up
need to do that. It's Dallas Fuel.
they bring up Shu in his Batiste stats. Healing
And
done.
it's all the offensive.
It's not showing. Yeah, he doesn't. Who cares about healing? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just Shu. Oh, he's hyper aggressive.
Yeah.
True.
Damage, amplification, matrix kills,
Yeah,
elims
He
per
just kills
10.
stuff.
Yeah.
Chio, like it took me some time. I kind of see it. Like Chio, I think was the best Lucio this year, and
Ooh, that's a strong statement.
I don't know, man.
That's very strong.
Like okay, I think after the first two stages, let's be real, it was Astro. Astro had a strong Lucio, but
Yeah.
Chio's mix or okay, best I think is more debatable. He's the most aggressive Lucio, and it benefited towards his like it paid off. As in like he had the highest final blow just number across all Lucios, like the finest how final blow per death ratio, just all of that. He was just a very strong Lucio. And I think what really helped is him really going into the Dallas hive mind and really being able to benefit from that, just he has Fielder as his support partner who's an entire hospital at this point, let's be honest. Like he just keeps everyone up.
He's an entire hospital.
Yeah. I remember someone said that during the zombie comp meta last year, where it was like, yeah, Fielder's player of the match as Moira. He has 25k heals per 10.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
someone was like, this dude, he's not a healer. He's a fucking hospital. Like,
Yeah.
man, what?
My homie was pumping out heals. I remember that.
Yeah,
I think its average over the whole stage was 24k per 10.
he's just.
I might be making that up, but I
To
remember
be
seeing
fair though,
it.
that was the patch that Moira was like giga strong with her
busted,
healing.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she would use half of a resource and then have a coal, and then the
Yeah,
coal would
Yeah.
give her that resource back. But still, the
Yeah,
fact
they
that he
just
hit
did it
that
off
much,
Moira for no reason, and Fielder was
Yeah.
like, bet.
yeah,
yeah,
he took advantage of it. But that's crazy.
I feel like in terms of like strong Lucios, you have Chio, Violet, Astro, and Vindame this season
Yeah,
as
Mhm.
top four pretty clearly.
yeah. Who else was good?
Like I could see Chio as a role star, but like I would have other people over him, I feel like.
Yeah,
But I get it. I'm not
I-
mad at it, in
I-
the same
Yeah.
way. I was like, I really would have rather had some other people in those tank roles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think the difference between like Chio and Vindame, like, because they were both on O2, and let's be honest, O2 is just a factory of Overwatch talent at this point. But from my understanding, like Chio's Lucio was really what put him over the top, but Vindame being able to be flexible was his kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
we
he played
saw-
everything at such a high level.
during stage 2, like we saw him flex over to the Zen and everything, he still looked really solid, and yeah, his Brig's insane and everything. Like Vindame's just a strong player. Something surprising was is Faraway 1987. He got like 18 votes for Role Star. A lot from the
Why?
Chinese talent.
What?
And like,
Yeah.
like I don't want to like rag on him too much, but like he got more than Twilight or Finn. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I
Might
think
be
it
a little
definitely
bit of
needs to
region
be.
bias in there.
Maybe a bit.
There definitely needs to be a lot more strict like qualifications to be able to vote for All Stars. It feels sometimes.
Maybe
Like
a
I
little
looked
bit.
at
Yeah.
I looked at the tank All Stars and there were like 4 votes for Mag.
Like, who are these people,
Like,
man?
like yeah, who is voting for Mag thinking this guy deserves it? Mag's good, but like really
Yeah.
for what we saw this season,
and
Consumed by punk.
tank and support
literally.
probably were a bit harder to pick. What wasn't hard to pick was the damage Role Stars, which I mean we
Yeah.
kind of got.
I think they were, but like they weren't.
It was like 5 people you would consider.
Exactly.
There were
playing.
5 people, yeah, and the 5th guy, which
I feel like
ended up being Zest. Like, unfortunate,
Yeah.
but I mean, had to leave someone out, unfortunately.
I feel like yeah, there's so much good DPS talent in the league that someone had to have gotten left out, and it feels wrong that they got left out.
Yeah. What was
But
it, like,
I'm glad
season?
Profit finally got it.
I'm glad, yeah, it was Prophet, Kevster,
Proper profit,
Proper,
Kevster lip.
and Lip, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Shy is the 5th one there for me.
I
Oh,
think for me,
Shy is.
yeah.
Oh, I
Could have
forgot.
had
Why didn't Shy
He
get
just
it?
barely missed out,
Dude,
Okay,
I
okay. If if Spark don't just tank the second half of the season, like actually like throwing games and everything, like
Yeah.
Well,
man,
the thing is, Shy didn't even look good in like that. He looked good in those games. He was
yeah,
never the issue.
yes, yes.
It's,
Yeah.
he always looked like he was.
It,
He
it,
did what Leave did last year.
oh no, no, no. He did what Shy
Mm,
did last year. You know, just completely carry teams, even though
yeah.
like, uh, man, poor Shy.
Dude, Shy versus Kai on Circuit Royale. That was one of the highlights of the year for the mid-season madness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
remember
was.
that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean,
Everyone's head got taken off.
man, the Widow mirror, dude. Kai's Widow's so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's criminal that Shy didn't get nominated for like anything.
I
Yeah.
think so. I get it. Like, oh, team kind of fell off, but still, like, man, that's insane to me.
Mhm.
I know that we haven't gotten there yet, but when we get to the teams, I have Sparks Twitter open over here. They're dropping players left, right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're ho hopefully planning on Shy next season, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why don't we start, moving along? So, yeah, went through the awards. Did we go through all the awards? I'm pretty sure we did.
Something like that.
We
Close
did
enough, anyways.
MVP. We went through Rookie of the Year. We went through Roll Stars. We went through Dennis Savelko Award. We went through. Is that it?
Yeah,
Grand
everything.
Finals MVP.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
fearless.
talked about everything.
Yeah, so off season started and Overwatch today actually being
Holy fuck!
November 14th. They released like this is the timeline. And a lot of teams it started like with the Dragons, but they're kind of updating the fans on like the contract status of all of these
Yeah.
teams.
Mhm.
And I find that really helpful and I think a lot of fans are very grateful just to know
I
like
am.
hey, what's happening to my favorite team and all that.
Knowledge is
So
power.
knowledge is power. Yeah.
Feeling very powerful at the moment.
Yeah. So yeah, why don't we talk about some of the changes?
If you want to look at my list, it's in alphabetical order for the teams.
Okay, yeah, let's just start with Atlanta, DJ's favorite team. So Atlanta ends up did Gator retire? I think he
I don't think he retired. I know that they gave him a separate farewell post. I'm assuming it's because he's been on the team since their inception.
yeah.
Mm. The
I
last
actually that's fair either
founding
way.
member.
Yeah. But yeah, so that Atlanta Reign decided to part ways. They're just free agents, like to part ways with Ultraviolet, OG, Venom, Speedily, Nero, Gator, and Danny, their coach. And
What is it? They still have Hawk.
Hawk, Kai, Vigilante.
yes,
That's it.
and
Solid trio.
it's a very solid trio. I know that a lot of people were saying like in stage 4 specifically, like Vigilante's like a top 3 flex support. It's just like, we're going into the playoffs now, might not play, but Vigilante's really good, man. He's
I
so
heard
good.
someone saying on, I think it was Tactical Crouch podcast, that if Proper wasn't in the league, Vigilante would be considered the best
Avril.
player in the league,
Avril. It was
which
Avril.
I feel like is a really spicy take. But
I I
just the fact that he was saying that,
I think
really,
something
Yeah.
to note
it means
was
something.
for last season's rookie class and all the players going in, proper. I think it's like everyone knows. Proper was seen as like the next big thing in Overwatch League.
He's been known.
There was
He has
We
been
knew this
known.
was
no
coming.
prospect
Yes.
as good as Proper or anything. He's the best player. He's been the best player in contenders. He's gonna demand a lot and everything. We've been new. For the top flex supports though, Vigilante was the best flex support.
Yeah,
Or
out of Korea
yeah,
contenders
or like the most
in
sought
the
after
S tier. Yeah.
prospect just of supports in general, honestly. Like that Talon backline of Vigilante Chorong was really what helped them secure a second place finish in
That would
contenders.
be great on any Overwatch League team.
Yeah, right now, like it's actually insane. And yeah, Vigilante's just insane. The fact that they played him over Ultraviolet who on Ultraviolet's nuts. He's probably the best.
I think he's the best non-Korean flex support in the league.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I can't
Mm.
think of anyone who's better.
Poor
Only
Crimzo
one
finally
I would
got
say.
that taken
I
away
would
from
say
him.
only person I think comes close to Crimzo.
Yeah, and I'd probably take UV. Yeah, but yeah. So Atlanta down to Kai, Hawk, and Vigilante. What does the
I
Rain
think
fan think?
I think the craziest part about this entire drop is not the backline, which they apparently spent big bucks on.
Yeah,
It's Speedily.
I agree.
Speedily, before the season, I was hearing, I don't remember where, but I heard someone say that he would have been another Rookie of the Year candidate if he were of age earlier. He
Yeah,
didn't get to really prove it. He didn't play that much. He played stage 4
Yeah, and when
in
he did,
playoffs.
it wasn't all that, I'd
It
say.
wasn't all that for
It
sure.
looked like he was biting off more than he could chew in some of those matches, like trying to
Yeah.
carry,
I
you
could
know?
see that because like for that American Tornado core, I felt like while all of them were really good and just running NA forever, it felt like Speedily was the guy that everyone was looking at as like, hey, when this dude turns 18 in, I don't know, 3 years from now, he's going to completely destroy
He
everyone. Which,
Yeah.
he
like,
was the proper of NA, if you would.
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
sure he'll find a home next season to try to
he
prove himself.
100% will, yes. There's,
I'm looking forward to
yeah,
What
seeing that.
I'm looking forward to is these AT players finding a team together. Hydron's
Yeah.
free agent as well. Like
Hydron, Kaluge, Reiner, UV,
Hydron,
OG, Speedily.
Speedily, yeah. Hey, don't
They're
like
forget.
all
Hey,
they're all
guys,
FAs.
let's not forget Wub here, okay? Come on.
Okay, Wub as well, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
Wub.
Paris signs them all. Let's go. Vegas signs them all.
Let's go. But yeah. So kind of Atlanta's thing.
They have a solid core to build around now.
Solid court. A lot of surprising drops, but that's kind of the direction they wanted to go into. So can't
The
complain
problem I feel
as
like they
much.
had towards like the later end of the season is that they have good players but not great players. Kai is really good, but he is never gonna be like the guy to win you a tournament. Same with Hawk and Vigilante, where these guys are really good, but I don't think they are like going to be that X factor
Um,
for you.
I don't know. Hawk is that guy on his
Hawk
heroes.
is
It was kind of
very
On his
unfortunate for them
heroes.
that it was a Winston meta.
yeah. And
Yeah, I guess.
honestly, like people,
Vigilante has the potential as well.
Vigilante still has a
I
lot
think
of
he can
untapped
definitely be a
potential.
part. He could be a part of a championship
A
roster
hundred
for sure.
percent, I agree
To
with
me,
that. Yes.
to me, Vigilante really didn't show it to me this season. Because I mean, he was on Washington for most of it,
Well, yeah, and
so
underage
The
for a lot of.
Washington effect, unlucky.
But
underage for half of it.
I
Then
think it's
on
really
Washington,
telling though that Krillin comes in, absolutely pounds, and then they're not even hesitant to bench him. They know that Vigilante is going to be that
Krillin
guy.
looked really good.
Yeah, he did look really good this season. So yeah, why don't we go on to Boston Uprising? So they parted ways with Punk, Itzal, Victoria, Valentine, Seeker, MCD, Faith, and Crimzo, but they gained Pre as a general manager
From Washington.
from
Mhm.
Washington. Yes. So, yeah, who's left on Boston?
I don't think anyone.
I think it's everyone, yeah.
Yeah, like
But a key part to mention about this, they got Pri, who's the new general manager. He came out and said that they are looking to re-sign some of these players.
yes, like
Like for example, Seeker got his team option completely declined, but they're still in talks with him. And I'm assuming that's because old contracts they were missing something or had something that Pri wasn't a fan of. So they're trying to restructure
Something
the contracts.
something I'm curious about, if they had a contract for league minimum with like an option to extend, since the minimum requirement has gone up, does that immediately void all those contracts, or does it
I'm assuming
default
it
that's a
to
good
doesn't.
point.
the
Actually,
lower one?
I
Are
I'm
they
didn't
assuming it
think
forced
just
to
about
goes up.
that.
remake the?
But I
Yeah,
do want to say about this team first. They are in talks with everyone still, besides Faith, MCD, and Itzal. All three of them had their options declined, and they're done with talks.
okay,
So
Okay.
they're full free agent.
that's good to know. It'd be a shame
It's
if
all to New York.
Punk left. Wait, didn't Mag have his option declined?
He had his option declined, but they're still in talks.
They're
They're
still
still
in
in
talks.
talks
Okay,
with
okay,
everyone but those three.
okay. But yeah, Boston kind of starting over. Something
Who do you
I
who do you
thought
want to see re-signed?
Punk,
Punk. Yeah.
Punk, Crimzo, and Seeker. I think Seeker
I
didn't have the
agree.
option to prove himself. Crimzo's really, really good as a non-Korean flex support, and Punk has just like
So all the
been the
non-Koreans.
yeah, he has done some crazy things for this team.
Yeah.
But
Punk is obviously the number one you'd look to
Yes.
get re-signed.
that's
But I
gonna be the
really liked what I
guy.
saw from Seeker
I
at the
did
end of the
too.
season.
Yeah.
He
When
played
Seeker
with a
got the
lot of confidence.
yeah. Was it against Boston where he killed someone like spit on them?
Against
Against Boston?
Boston.
No, against Titans was it? I think it was I
Yeah.
Oh
think it
yeah.
was against
Oh my
Titans.
gosh, I remember.
He was like teabagging like spits in his webcam.
Yeah.
What a gamer.
I
Yeah.
love Seeker. Yeah. But yeah, he really stepped up after I think it was Valentine went back to Korea for something, I guess, and they were
He's
forced to
still
play
in talks, by the way.
Yeah, which is I find kind of weird. I thought they were kind of done.
So do I.
Which meant Victoria was forced onto Genji and like, you know, not Valentine, but he was serviceable for I guess, but
Seeker
yeah,
showed his stuff on Sojourn though.
Seeker proved his worth. Punk is the tank in Boston. I'd be so sad if they got rid of him.
He
And then
is their Toby.
yeah,
Yeah. Actual.
he's the Toby of tanks. Like let's be honest here.
Actually.
Yeah, like I can't think of a tank who has been through more than he has. And Crimzo, you know, who Crimzo swaps teams every year, but I hope he can find
Crimzo has
a
never
stable
underperformed
home.
on a team. I think Crimzo's always overperformed his expectations on
Yeah,
every team
okay,
he's gone
okay.
to.
Is it a hot take on the 2021 Houston team?
That was last year.
Yeah, I thought Crimzo was their best player like throughout the
Yeah, he was
season.
one of the strongest ones.
I
Probably.
say he like Happy was nuts. Obviously,
Yeah.
Happy.
I think since he joined the league almost, he's been like the best Western flex support aside from now Ultraviolet.
There's Ultraviolet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Like
I
he's
completely agree.
still really good. Yeah.
but yeah, Boston kind of in talks with everyone. Chengdu haven't really
Chengdu, I don't do anything.
released anything yet. It's interesting to think about because I think it was Harsha who tweeted out something like a lot of teams might start to budget this year, I guess you could say. And it's not like it's just esport. It's an esport thing. It's just how it is, I guess. So will be interesting to see if Chengdu stays the same because they had this huge roster going into the 2022 season, but they had to cut off like a lot of them.
Prita got cut off,
Yeah,
for example.
yeah, and
And like half of their support line as well.
yeah, half of
Yeah.
their support line, which
They went to charge and showed why they probably
Yeah.
should have stayed.
yeah. Um,
There's one thing that this that lights me up about this. They're going budget, which means that one of their like the big money players like Gaga and Leave
I've
might
heard
go to different
rumors of
teams.
leave to Hangzhou.
That is what excites me.
leave
Having-
I wanna see it.
Shy.
Leave Shy just with
Yeah.
Gaga as like Gaga Gushue tank line
Yeah.
with like either
That's
of those
just a
being
wet
in.
dream.
Yeah,
Or okay, honestly, with the leave Shy thing, honestly, even if it went the other way, like, hey, Hangzhou doesn't want like a Chinese and Korean mixed roster. See a Chinese players like Shy to Hunters, man.
I think Spark would rather keep their Chinese players, no?
I guess because it's Hangzhou, but they have more Korean players technically, right? Or they have a lot of
Chengdu
drops
are
right now.
Chengdu is full Chinese, but they've
Yeah.
been dropping everyone left to right.
Yeah, but because I don't know. I feel like Leave would want to be more on a full Chinese roster, where Shy has experience on like mixed rosters. So I don't know, just theorizing, I guess. Fuel, everyone. Okay, so everyone they are a free agent on Fuel, the winning team, but let's be
Their
real
contract
here.
expiring, I think,
They're-
right?
Yeah. I think it's just
I have a little bit of insight.
they're
from the
kind
West
of
End
just
field.
Hastro's kind of just letting all of the players just explore options. kind of see what's out there. They're all in talks with Phil and everything. It'd be sad if they didn't all come back. You know, that's the winning team and everything. But if they did choose to go somewhere else, you know, they already won a championship. Maybe they want more playtime somewhere else. I'd completely understand.
They've earned the right to,
Pretty much just
Yeah.
wear
letting
the
the
bag.
players decide. Well, they're all free agents, but they are not all on the market right now. Pretty much, Fuel is going to definitely be hungry to have some of these players back.
Yes, yeah, they're kind of just letting them, you know, explore options, and it's something I
I do want
respect
to
the
bring
Phil
up:
for, like, you know, because
is there anyone who you think would go somewhere off the team, like
I think
leave?
Gurio is gonna go off the team.
yeah, unfortunately,
I think,
as sad as it is, I think Doha, like,
yeah, that him too.
I think
that's a
the
sad.
tank line is a priority for them to keep.
I also
Tank
think the
line is
support line as well, like, maybe
Mhm.
not Chio as dude. Please keep Fielder. He's so good.
Yeah, Fielder's a hot
And
commodity now.
I feel like there's some crazy main supports, so losing
yeah,
Chio won't be the
I I,
worst in the
th-
world.
I think of the contenders players coming in, there's a lot of really good main support prospects. The flex supports might be a bit like
That's the harder part.
yeah, it's a bit
They're
more
going to be much
difficult.
more competitive either way.
Uh, for the DPS for Fuel, I know Edison was like last year. Edison was like for the 2022 season. Edison was probably their best DPS player. Like if you consider all things throughout the season.
Yes, for sure.
But I think you really need to keep Sparkle because that
I
is the
personally-
face of like that element Mystic Core. I feel like he's kind
I
of
think there's
the
no
guy.
chance Sparkle leaves.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
remember he specifically went for Paris when they're on that team for a lower budget, lower salary,
Play with his buddies.
Play with his
because
buddies. Yeah.
Rush was there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He follows Rush. He will follow Rush to the end of the world. If Rush wants to
But,
stay on the fuel,
but
he'll stay
Rush
on the
is
fuel.
also a free agent.
Yeah. Which.
Ha ha ha. Anyone want to buy a
So,
championship?
Which
right,
you
gonna
know,
buy a championship
Rush putting
roster.
out his looking for a team, you know, he just has 19 teams just sliding in, just like,
Yeah.
yo, what up, though? Like,
Hey, imagine New York just slides in like, hey, we want to buy Rush and the entire middle element Mystic Core.
yeah, that's crazy.
They would have the same colors.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one
They
thing.
just take a
Be like-
Sharpie, cross out Dallas.
That's the
New
one
York.
thing I would not want if they
Yeah.
are going to break up the core. Like, if they're going to leave Dallas, just break up the core at that point. Like, I can't see all of Dallas Fuel wearing, I don't know,
I think-
Toronto Defiant jerseys or something.
Yeah.
Like, no,
That's true,
you
yeah.
gotta.
Yeah,
you-
honestly,
if you are staying
That'd be so
together,
funny.
you gotta
That
burn
would
blue. You feel? Like, yeah,
I mean, if Toronto offers them the bag
dude.
I think
I'd
the
be
three
so mad
for
at
players-
the
that.
exact same group of
the
people,
three genuine
mean-
players at risk of leaving are Doha, Gurio, and I think Edison.
I
I think with how he
Edison's a risk.
performed in the grand finals, people want Edison on that roster. Since he wasn't a part of the core either, he isn't like super attached to the players on his team, most likely. So I
I
could
see where
definitely
you-
see
I-
like
I
a
see what you're saying,
Toronto
yeah.
for it's like fucking Toronto, for example, shooting a shot at him.
Yeah.
Seoul even like shooting a shot to try to get him on their roster
Mhm.
with how he played.
really revived his career.
Yeah.
Actually,
He just realized his potential because I think going into 2020, Edison was a rookie of the year caliber kind of guy. Like
when he
that's how-
got signed to Reign, yeah,
yeah, he was that guy. Obviously, that was the year where there were a lot of good rookies, but Philly had this one flex support guy, RIP, who was the best support period in the league. So
Yeah.
the rookie of the year race was kind of
plus.
yeah.
That Reign roster, they kind of like I don't know what happened with Erster, but I also played Edison on the flex DPS for a while, where he didn't
Yeah.
look bad, he didn't look good on it either.
Yeah, it's like it's not his
Those-
main role.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just
Just
not
kind
a
of-
good
It's
roster.
like a
to prove
square
yourself.
peg being put in a circle hole, you know?
Yeah, Edison's
Where does it
not
go?
as much of a hyper
Where
flex.
does it
Although
Yeah.
Edison's player pool, like hero pool, is kind of deep. Thinking about it, like he popped off on Genji this year, man.
looked
I
good.
don't know. Yeah, he looked good.
And he's like the 17th best Genji on his team.
Like, not disrespect to Edison, but
I wouldn't be
he's...
surprised if Hanbin had a nasty Genji.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
hello.
No. I know this for a fact. Hanbin has played DPS on stream, and it'd just be like, yeah, I killed 4 as Hanzo, guys. Come on, let's go.
Bumper type shit where he just pull out a Hanzo in a fucking match and then
Hanzo.
just like
Legendary.
I think Genji in particular, I have seen Hanbin play it on stream in like just Overwatch League player streams and just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna destroy everyone because I'm an Overwatch League player. They're just good at the game, man. Like, man.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to move on to Florida now?
Yeah, Florida. So,
Yeah.
On Florida, Majed had his option declined, I believe.
I
Onma's
think
a
that's
free
just-
agent.
That's just because they decided Rupel is the better overall player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hydron
Yeah.
only signed a 1-year deal. Xe as well. And they also lost Day One. And,
One of their coaches.
yeah,
Don't
one
know
of
how
their
big of a role
coaches.
he had.
I mean, they were a pretty successful team.
Yes.
Based on, like, the budget they had, pretty solid. Like, they definitely outperformed what they should have. Someone's resigned, Checkmate's resigned, and RuPaul is re-signed.
Mhm.
So I'm very surprised Hydron is gone, but
Solid core. Shows they
Yeah.
want to have a
Which
mixed
is-
roster still.
Hydron's contract expired. He
yeah,
could
it
still
was a
easily be
1-year
in talks.
deal. Yeah. Like, and I think if you're Florida, you're definitely looking to bring a guy like
Yeah.
him back.
Yeah, Hydron really popped off this whole year.
I think
Yeah.
they
I'm really-
tweeted specifically actually that Hydron was gone.
For their sake, I'm glad they still have someone, but also I know a lot of teams would be interested in buying that contract off
For
of him.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Like,
So
I think it was some. I think it was from
Yeah,
one
they
of the,
tweeted. They had a farewell tweet for Hydron, so I'm assuming he's not gonna get resigned.
that
Or if he is,
sucks.
he's getting. It's very unlikely.
He's going to the AT Corps, joining up with the goons
Yeah.
again.
That sounds like a
But
crazy
we've
team.
seen farewell posts, and then you're just like, welcome back. You know, it's just
Yeah.
depends
I
on
think it was
social media.
Goomba
They did it with
actually.
EQO. They did it with EQO.
I think it
Yeah.
was Goomba who said, yeah, no one was really looking at someone. Like, he didn't really have much interest.
No one.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is,
looking
he
into
got
him.
signed super early in the off season, so maybe other
Yeah.
teams didn't have time to reach out to him
May-
before Gunba just snatched him up.
Maybe.
And because he was so early, someone's like, "Oh, I'm not getting any other offers."
I
at
also
this
think, though, like, there
Sign
were
them.
Which is
a lot
crazy.
of main, or just,
Like-
like, tanks in general going into
Kellen.
Overwatch. Like, Kellen,
Kellen and Bellisria were the two that came to mind.
You can't tell me that Kellen, probably the top main tank prospect coming from Korean contenders, you can't tell me, oh, wow, he got all of these offers, but he decided that he wanted to play for the New York Excelsior. There's no way you can tell
Yeah,
me that.
it's-
Like,
But
Oh,
at the
I don't
same
know.
time, well, on paper, that New York roster was
It
not
looked
4-20.
good. Yeah,
man,
Yaki, Flora, Gangnam
you-
Gym,
I know
Myungbong.
preseason we were all like kind of optimistic on
yeah,
them.
I remember-
we heard the Screambucks,
Yaki
like, you know,
Flora?
they didn't have that
Sheesh.
much, but, you know, Yaki Flora with Gangnam Jin
Yeah.
like, that's an insane
Yeah.
roster.
All they
I
need
just-
to do is sign a main support.
I don't know what happened with New York, but I remember like preseason, like early on when they had signed their roster, people like put them like top and like that top, but like a top tier team
Solid
NA.
mid-table. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mid to high table, and then they just slowly throughout the offseason just went down and down and down and down and
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, you know, once
It's like-
when the Scrimbucks exchange started going around, like, I don't always believe in the Scrimbucks, but for that, it's pretty accurate. I don't know, man. They really didn't get any. But
Yeah,
yeah, so more about Florida. I'm glad they are keeping Checkmate. I think he really proved to be a very solid flex DPS for them.
And if you never need a main tank, you know.
you ever need a main tank?
Need a main tank, yeah.
someone takes Ryan lessons from.
Yeah.
Real-
RuPaul as a support, I always felt like he was a very consistent support for them, which is kind of what they needed. Like, Majed's a very mechanically gifted guy. Majed is also kind of a feeder. Like,
He's a little bit of a freak at
I'm
times.
just saying it how I see it. Like, there were times where, like, yeah, Majed has the best Zen in the league or things like that, and he's like, oh, #1 in final blows. Oh, he's 16th out of 16 Zenyatta's
Then
in
he's
deaths.
number
and
one in
it's
the
like,
league for deaths.
yeah, he's like, oh, number of deaths, yeah, 16th out of 16. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and he was like #1 in deaths until he got benched in that one
Yeah,
stage,
yeah. It was
and
like,
he still held it for a long time.
oh man. Uh,
That was funny to me.
XC,
Lex.
I'm not really surprised XC is leaving.
Yeah, Hydron
I
kind
can
of just shoved him in
again
a locker room, took his spot.
I
Yeah.
can totally
Reserve.
see like Edison getting taken off the fuel and Axie going back over there. Because Axie when he played did
But
not look bad, and that's the element Mr. Core getting back together.
mhm,
This is assuming XC doesn't get boomed again, by the way, which you know, happens. But yeah, so that's the Florida Mayhem. Guangzhou, they didn't really have much. Unfortunately, you
Only thing
know,
they've come out with is Krong.
praise thy Lord, Krong decided to retire.
Okay,
Uh,
dude, that's our favorite tank
yeah, like
ever.
man, I love Krong.
That's the Krong charge.
Yeah,
yeah,
his Sigma in 2020 was inspirational.
Legendary.
It
Yeah.
you know made me
I
want to
know
load up the Sigma.
I know in our whole stack that we play with, everyone has the Krong Sigma skin,
Yeah, like
like equipped, ready to go. Yeah.
yeah,
this
and
is kind of funny to me as well.
mm,
Charge posted a looking for player thing where anyone can sign up
yeah.
if you would like. Just email them like your name, your position, your B tag. So they're like desperate for players, it seems.
I mean,
Trying
So
to
they
pluck
can.
I
one
think
from
they're
the
just
ladder.
casting a wide net, honestly, like seeing
Yeah.
what's out there. But yeah, Krong, rest in peace, miss ya. As for the current charge roster, I think they're going to roll with most of these guys anyways next season, which honestly it looks
Most
like
likely.
it's Piggy, Choi One, and then
Jimmy,
the
Yveltal, Farway.
Chengdu leftovers, which
Yeah,
might not be the
which
leftovers because they might be a bit
Yeah.
better
It
than
might
some
be the main
pieces.
course, bro.
Might
It
should
might
have
be.
end
been.
up.
They should
Yeah,
have been.
you know, just add a leave on, and that's the Chengdu Hunters right there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Jimmy went to contenders. He came out swinging on the other side. Yeah.
Jimmy, I think his aggressive play style as well as his sojourn just absolutely pounded.
Mhm.
Xerneas is nuts, by the way. That guy's a monster. It's formerly known as
Yveltal,
Yveltal.
by the way. Yeah.
He
One of the
is,
funniest name changes ever.
yeah,
I thought it was a different player trying to reference, like, be a Yveltal
yeah,
fan, like,
yeah,
Yeah.
grew up.
yeah. I
No,
saw
it's just the same
I
guy.
saw like the
Same
Guangzhou
dude.
like academy team like, hey, this is our roster. We all saw Xerneas and we're just like, that can't just be a coincidence, right?
Yeah,
Like,
there's no way,
there's
right?
no way.
Pull up the Wikipedia.
Yeah, pull it out.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
the same guy. Who
One
knew?
of the few names that actually just caught my eyes
yeah.
off rip.
Because I was like, yeah, there's no way. But yeah, Guangzhou. This is a solid-ish core. I don't know how it'd be next season if they wanted to roll with these exact players, but
Yeah, they ended strong. I don't know if they're in contention for like a stage championship or anything quite yet,
they
but they're
look
on
solid.
the
Yeah,
upwards trajectory. So
I
yeah,
think with better coaching, this team could be much better because they have the talent. They've shown it. It's just that,
hashtag the talent is there.
yep,
yeah.
it's like Toronto and Washington have been forever.
Oh,
They're just
that's
like
rude.
it's true though. It's true. They've
It
always
is.
had
It
the
is.
talent and they've just never made it work.
Yeah, they have Roll Star caliber flex support Faraway 1987. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. But yeah, that's the Guangzhou Charge. The Hangzhou Spark, who are actually dropping players like right now as we made this.
I'll
You know,
double
DJ
check,
was.
make sure there's no more.
I saw one for Architect. Very sad.
That
I
that
like
was
that guy.
like halfway through your
I'm
speech during the fuel.
no. He was dropped before the vid and everything. Like
Yeah, right
they
as we
announced that.
were like
Yeah,
figuring out what we
sometime.
want to talk about.
What was
Yeah,
he actually?
yeah.
Oh,
Like before I hopped in call, like I was like crying about it
okay.
a little.
I'm
Not
schizo then.
crying, but
Sobbing.
as far as we know, Chengun is gone, the
This is
coach.
it.
Miro is gone, assistant coach, as well as Neko, architect Bernard, and Teru. Chengun, honestly, I'm a bit surprised at this one because well, actually, hold on. He had a very weird second half of the season. I don't know,
Yeah.
but he does have this championship experience, you know, with the Seoul Dynasty and the London Spitfire. So, I mean, he's a very decorated coach. Miro, you know, the Winston guy. Yeah, that Miro. Yeah,
The OG Miro.
yeah. as well
The
as
guy who invented Winton.
invented Winton. Neko,
Genuinely did though.
Yeah.
support line, not really surprised they drop him, as well as Teru. I think Teru just during the playoffs he had
He
a
showed himself.
resurgence a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
But I do think that
not a bad
Irony
player.
Super Rich as a support line, might be the two better players. I'm not really sure if they're going to upgrade or anything. Especially Super Rich is actually kind of insane, as well as him in his little teacup. Like what a gamer.
Yeah.
A
And he's
Bernard,
bald.
yeah,
Shout
Bernard,
out.
a bit of a surprising
He
drop.
caught me off. That caught me off guard.
A little bit. Like I'm not. It's not too shocking, but I guess you could say like he had a decent season last year. Like he was the tank for most of the year. Gushui was really just the monkey guy, and let's be honest, Gushui's a really good monkey guy. But Bernard
Yeah.
provided a lot of flexibility,
Hmm.
and
He was like the everything else guy.
Yeah.
and Architect's
Everything else.
or Architect played a bit of Genji for them when Alpha Yi
When
was traveling. And let's be honest, Architect pounded on Genji when he played, but Architect I felt like was kind of just there for the veteran leadership as well as
He was
he
kind of
just
just playing second fiddle to Alfie the whole season, which is under
yeah,
because Alfie's like really good.
Alpha Yi is really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, kind of slowed down second half of the season, but so did the rest of Spark. Besides Shy, obviously, that guy just running it down 24/7. Just yeah. But
this
yeah,
leaves them with Gushway, Shy, Pineapple, Alpha Yi, Iron East, and Super Rich, which is still a 6-man roster,
Hmm.
yeah.
which is a solid roster, all things considered.
This being Hangzhou, though, they are definitely going to sign more players. Let's make that clear.
Ooh, sadly,
Uh,
I I
they
want
sign everyone.
their flex support, but we'll have to see.
yeah. I thought Irony was solid, but they can look to upgrade it. I feel so.
It's like one
You
of their
could shoot
easy
for Molly,
goals.
Could yeah,
honestly.
Molly's actually a solid option. Has experience with mixed rosters and everything. Next, Houston Outlaws. They get rid of Doge, Lep, and Creative. So they end up keeping, for now, Dante, Pelican, Merritt, and Lastro. Pelican, there are rumor. There's always rumors with Pelican. Might not be in Houston. We don't know yet. You trade Piggy. Oh, Pelican's not happy about that one. Kind of
Rumor
thing.
preseason was that he chose the Outlaws because Piggy was there,
Yes.
and Piggy is no longer there.
Yeah, not saying that he's going straight to Guangzhou to follow Piggy or anything, but there might be a bit of a rift there.
There might be something going on with him.
Either way, Dante, I think just DPS players are just so mechanically gifted to the point where if they put in the time and effort, they are able to make that transition into like tank and support. Dante is one of those players. Like
It does seem, by the way, like Dante's going to be a full-time tank player
yeah,
now.
which I agree with. Lastro can play any support in the game, it feels like.
Mhm.
And Merritt, who was a very strong hit scan from this last season, who are like top 5 hit scan debatably just throughout the season, like very good. They get rid of Doge, who didn't play much.
We all saw this coming.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Doge, but happens. Got rid of Lep,
I'm a
who
little surprised. I thought he played really well
when
he
he
was
did
on.
Lep
play,
did. He
Lep did, yeah. I think the problem, what prevented Lep from playing was just Lastro being able to be so flexible on support. Like, if you need to switch to double flex mid match, Lastro's able to do that and feel more comfortable. Honestly, what I'm surprised about, Creative is going to be a free agent. I thought he had a really good year last year, despite getting traded. Like, even like taking that into account, like he really popped off last year on two
We're
different
talking
teams.
about the Iris creative trade being one of the most mutually beneficial trades in all of Overwatch League history. Like both teams looked better after that trade, and
I
they
agree.
they just dumped him after that. It's kind of sad to think about.
It's up there with like Dante for Smurf. Like, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
it helps both sides so much. I hope Creative goes to a team. Maybe he goes back to APAC. We'll know the full story there. I definitely think he will be playing in the Overwatch League next season, though.
He
So
deserves it. He
yeah,
deserves to.
he really showed it.
Mhm.
But yeah, anything to add on Houston?
So
Um,
with them dropping 2 support players, I'd be interested to see what kind of supports they're looking to sign.
wouldn't surprise me if they got like New York's backline with like Gangnam Jim and Ansun Jae if they want to choose the Korean route because
Mm,
that was a solid backline.
I could see Gangnam Jin going here.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe Gangnam. I talked to L5 about this. Like, what if they got the American Tornado backline here somehow
Yeah,
and just had
with
UV
Lastro to like
OG Lastro as a
Will.
backline? It feels like that covers so much, and
Mhm.
I think
I don't
UV
know.
and OG cover
That
everything.
feels pretty similar to Gladiator's backline this season. It's like you
I
can
can see
cover
that. Yeah,
anything, any comp in the game, and have excellent players on all the roles.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe not quite the same
Yeah,
level on paper,
I'm a
but
fan of something like
sounds
that.
pretty
Potentially, just spitballing a bit, you know. And like they have Dante there already, so it's not like it's a full Korean team or anything. So, and like
similar.
if you're
yeah.
Houston, you can't trade Dante. He's the face of your franchise.
At this point in the game, yes, he has to stay.
Yeah. He is your tank now. That's your guy. Next team is London. So, Poco is a free agent. Shax is a free agent. Khan is a free agent. You put Shax twice. Weirdo.
Don't talk about it.
Sparker is a free agent, although he's in talks with them. And then Backbone, Haughty, Admiral, and Landon all got their options picked up, I believe. So
Yes. The key thing to say though, they have said a farewell post for
Poco
Poco, Shax,
and
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 Khan,
Khan, so
Khan.
they
not
are gone.
Sparker. Yeah, not Sparker.
Yeah, so they are 100% gone, most likely.
Yeah, Sparker's the one guy who, if you're London, you really want to keep Sparker if you can.
Yeah, Sparker was definitely like an upper half hit scan in the league.
Yeah, I thought
Really
his
strong
Sojourn
performances.
specifically, like going into playoffs, like he was debatably a top 5 Sojourn at that point in the season.
Everyone praises Hottie, but I think Sparker was their MVP candidate if
I
his team would have one.
I
Parker was a solid A tier Sojourn, I think.
I
Actually,
I actually kind of thought about that a little bit. Like I think Haughtie's the face of London, and they kind of played around
yeah,
like him. Sparker is their best player, though.
exactly.
I
That's what I was
think
saying.
he's the
He is
most
their MVP
mechanically
Yeah.
candidate.
gifted. And when teams were able to shut down Sparker, London did not look that good.
It's exactly what happened with Shy, except the rest of the team's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I know in stage one, Sparker on the soldier was going off with Admiral on the flank, the
yeah.
little
Yes.
duo, and they were taking so much map control, and no one else had figured out how to stop it. And eventually, people started copying. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was the guy who
Christopher.
invented that playstyle. I guess
But it
that
is
is
also
first. Kudos to him.
important to note that Christopher did get re-signed with the team.
Yeah, that
He
is
did
Yeah,
have
very
another year.
important.
he's on a 2-year contract
Yeah.
Yeah.
at least.
But yeah, it's good that Haughtie's resigned. I think you need to resign him. Like that's
You
your
want him?
guy.
He's becoming again the face of your brand now.
Yeah, Backbone. People memed on Backbone like after the first stage, and like I will
Yeah,
say like he didn't have the strongest first stage. After that though, like honestly, Backbone was really good. Like
yeah,
he
he looked
played
great.
some Zen and everything. His Mei was good. Genji even
Bone
looked like
back.
really good. Yeah, Boneback played Zen. I forgot what
I
happened to
remember
that
they
guy.
dropped one back though. So
Yeah,
sad.
that's so sad. Yeah, they
Sad.
but they got a con, and it's like
Yeah,
oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Admiral Landon. Uh,
Okay, backline.
yeah, that's a okay backline. I think their synergy with Haughty and everything
Really good.
is
it's
really
one of the
solid.
stronger Western backlines
Yeah.
behind
agree.
the
Yeah,
AT duo.
yeah. I think these are guys who wouldn't particularly like work out on different teams, but because they're on this team, like with all of like the synergy, that is what London's kind of philosophy is behind their
They're all on
team.
the same page.
Yeah. And I think you can kind of see it like London as a team, something I was really impressed with Admiral specifically, like they knew when to disengage just fights and everything. Like you'd think like, oh,
Smart
Reinhardt's
players.
like mega aggressive or anything. They were one of honestly the most like I guess reactionary or like passive teams in the league last season. It felt like just because like, oh hey they used ults, let's just speed back and wait. Like
Yeah, the Lucio speed cooldowns was like really well used.
yeah, Admiral had a really solid year, and then landing, like had to come in short notice because that one guy did those one things and not very good. But Landon had a very strong year. It felt like, and even his Kiriko was very strong. It felt like,
I always liked Landon in contenders, and to see
yeah,
him succeed in the league is really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Doesn't he like play main support and flex support? Or
No,
like on this
no,
team, he mostly plays flex? Who am I thinking of that plays both?
Luke Mino.
Yeah, that's who it
Alpha.
was. My
Yeah,
bad.
still a fan of Landon
I
though.
knew it was some NA support guy.
Okay, yeah. Next, LA Gladiators. So the only players they have re-signed, like confirmed, are Kevster and Funny Astro. Happy's a free agent. Reiner's a free agent. Shoe's a free agent. Skew's a free agent. And Space had his option declined, I believe. Oh,
Yeah.
It's Happy had their options declined.
okay. Happy had his option
Shu,
declined.
an hour ago, Shu made a LFT tweet that said he was still in talks with the Gladiators.
Okay, so here, I'm gonna be honest here. They're gonna throw the bag at Shu. Like
They should.
they
They
will
should.
they should. If you're the LA Gladiators, you gotta try to keep Shu. I'm like
hmm
that's your aggressive flex support guy, and yeah, just try to keep him if you can. Reiner, it'd be nice if they could keep Reiner, but never know with the American Tornado guys. I guess moving around potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks that Happy won't return there, or at least his option was declined. It doesn't necessarily mean, but
Yeah.
it's a telling sign. Like, hey, like we're not too interested. Maybe the Justice contract was just too big, and they just wanted to kind
Or
of
maybe it was a
rework
1 year contract. Well, no, it wasn't a 1+1.
Well, it was the
It,
option
it was an
declined.
option
Yeah.
declined.
So
Yeah.
this,
So maybe it was just that because Justice are made of money and they like to
Yeah,
throw it at
it could
people.
be any reason.
Yeah,
mm,
but
I
yeah,
would be interested in seeing Kaluj on this team, to be
yeah.
honest.
There were like because Kaluj tweeted that picture of him in the Glads thing. I think
I
Kaluj
didn't see
plus
that.
Reiner as a like they're two tanks that can honestly cover everything, but at the same and like it's the American Tornado Corps, but at the same time they don't need to be on the same team because they themselves already
exactly.
kind of cover everything. So like
Yeah.
yeah,
Kaluj is like the biggest hyperflex out of like
Actually,
all the Western tanks, I'd feel.
like watching
I feel like it's
Kaluge
him
versus
and Reiner.
Reiner.
I don't know. Like Reiner's
Yeah, they're both really flexible. I just feel like
Reiner's
Kaluj is
Junker
a
Queen
bit better.
looked
I think
okay.
Reiner, with the Queen looked shaky at best, which is like the only
Yeah.
hole Kaluge would need to fill. Which at that point, why would you have Kaluge instead of just make sure Reiner knows how to
Yeah,
play that
like
hero?
it'd be cool if they were on the same team, but I can't see it honestly
It's
because
just not. It's not needed.
yeah, maybe they're splitting them up, having a Bobby Wasabi versus Redbirds kind of thing again. I don't know. That'd be funny. But yeah, Success is skewed leave. I'd be intrigued to see him on another team and what role he would specifically fill. Because skewed like going into the league and everything was hey, he's a flex
An
support.
unknown flex support.
He was an unknown flex support, and yes, he has played some flex support characters. But on the Glads, it was kind of like, yeah, he's the brig guy who can sometimes play flex support.
Why
too
would you
needed.
need him to play it over Shu though? It's like there was never a point to play him on his main role.
Yeah, that is a good point. But yeah, would be interesting to see what happens with skewed there.
hmm
And then Space. Space didn't play much last season, but
When he did play, I thought it was pretty good.
when he did play, yeah, like Circuit Royale people meme because like yeah, hell yes, Space gets to come in and get his one game in and
Only
everything.
only time he was needed.
And his Junker Queen, I think Face even like said like it wasn't that Space was like mechanically more gifted than Reiner or anything because they're both like insane at the game still. it's just Space's ability to like kind of like shot call and everything in that
Yeah,
specific
command the
meta
team around him.
was
Yeah.
really strong. And yeah, Space
You've
has
rushed
been
Space
here
team.
since season 1. If he did retire, I wouldn't be surprised, but I do think he can
Alright.
still play in the league. But yeah, anything
Agree.
on the Glads?
One more thing about Space. People were saying too that if they had gotten their shit together in Jotes and they had actually started playing Space earlier, they would have won Jotes.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
would have won that
They would have
stage.
won all the stage titles in
Yeah,
the whole
which is
season.
yeah, and then
At that
still
point, that's a whole nother conversation we're having
yeah,
with the Glads.
yeah, and they
yeah,
still
but
get bounced
And it would
losers
have
round
been
2 in the
even worse
playoffs.
in the
the point
playoffs.
that I'm bringing up though, that they had this caliber of talent where they were being recognized by these other top teams as the one that should have won that meta even. Like
Yeah,
they're
they were.
that
Yeah.
caliber, and they kept funny Astro and Chemistry. That's it out of their
Yeah.
entire roster.
I think that's
Yeah,
insane. I also think it's a thing where like, you know, as we talked about, like you kind of want to let your players explore their options. Like, hey, like we'd love to have you back, but like, you know, this is a career decision. You know, like you got to do what's
Which
gotta
is
do what you got to
really
do.
nice that the org's actually like
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about their players.
yeah.
Valiant. Sorry, I coughed.
Okay. Anyways, yeah,
Speaking of the
speaking of the
Valiant,
Valiant,
yeah,
yeah.
Valiant. So, the players that's not all, is it?
that's all that they've officially
No,
dropped.
no, no, no,
Yes.
no. I am 99.9% sure
It's a lot of
Sasha is
percent.
dropped, as well as just let's see.
So on our list, we have Easy Han, Innovation,
Oh,
and Becky
there
all
are
as
more.
free agents, but it appears the list is incomplete.
The list is incomplete. Oh no, I have been slacking. Did
Golly
Valiant tweet it
jeepers.
though? Or
No.
did the players tweet it? Is my thing, because I might have just
Oh,
missed
maybe
the.
I got baited by someone. Man,
Is it a Ball Stag Esport tweet?
I don't know. It looked like an LA Valiant thing. I don't know where
The
Valiant.
Liquipedia says they only have Dia, Langsa, Hacker, and Molly right now. So I'm guessing. Well, I went to their Twitter, uh, Funny Valiant Twitter. They haven't tweeted anything. The last
Yeah.
tweet was
Okay. Yeah.
GG's Shanghai Dragons 03.
Yeah, like Marvel and Sashin and them, they were dropped,
That's
right?
very
Like,
on brand for
Yes,
yeah.
they
Valiant.
were,
Okay,
but
they
I
were
didn't.
dropped. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I thought I was hallucinating a bit. Wait, what's the?
Funny Valiant. I'll update it real quick.
Okay. But yeah, they got rid of Innovation, Becky, Easy Han, Sashin, and Marvel.
And
Uh,
coldest.
and Coldest, yeah. When did Coldest? No, Coldest left a while ago, didn't he?
Oh, he did.
No, he's
I'm
not on the
schizo.
team, so
Yeah,
He's
he
not on the
didn't.
team. That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, LA Valiant, what they have now, what do they have right now? I'll pull up the thing.
Dia, Langsa, Hacker, Molly. Hacker didn't play. Dia did. Langsa was one of the Langsa and Molly were the support players.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Easy Han is being let go of because he was kind of their main, like, hit scan.
DPS.
They just DPS in general, yeah, just throughout
Yeah.
the season. As well as Becky, you know, Becky kind of had some, you know, some moments, but he was pretty solid as well. Yeah, I mean,
didn't Easy Han's family also
go.
provide the practice facilities?
Yes, they did. There you go.
Shout out.
but yeah, surprised by that a little bit. But yeah, it's the Valiant. It's I don't know what else to say. They
I hope they try a little harder next season.
yeah.
I hope.
Which, you know, they got some wins this season. And beat the Fusion twice.
Yeah.
That's a fusion moment.
Yeah, that's a Fusion. I pray on Fusion's downfall. Okay. But yeah,
It reminds me of the Fusion Experience Bad Pachamari videos.
The Fusion experience.
Man.
What a great experience.
But yeah, I think Easy Han was very good for them. Would be happy to see him somewhere. Maybe Marvel even, because I think Marvel provides a lot of flexibility as a tank, and he might
Marvel's
not.
the other hyperflex in the league, pretty much.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
plays a lot
going
of
into
tanks.
Historically.
Overwatch 2, Marvel was like one of the more hyped up tank players.
Yeah, because like he's the main tank
He's
who
played it all.
played off tanks on his team, even though they had
Yeah, he was like the
Even though
perfect
they
pickup if you
had,
wanted one slot in your tanks.
yeah. And
it's
Toronto
funny
felt
though.
so
And
bad
now
that
he's
they
here.
ended up picking up Michelle for a season. This is so sad.
Michelle, by the way, let's make it known. Michelle was not bad.
Yeah,
For some reason, they just played Marvel over him.
yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I
Valiant.
Valiant.
don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
New York
my hope for
Excelsior.
this,
Oh, good. No,
my hope
go
for the
on.
Valiant. I just want to say real quick. Um, No Hill is gone, but he did post an LFT. He left like before the end of the season, but
Yeah.
No Hill is LFT again because he finished
Nice.
school, I
Good job.
guess.
Yeah.
I hope this team doesn't pick him up. The No Hill dream is real, but I want the Valiant as an org with these players to succeed. So,
Yeah. So
actually get a roster that doesn't have 5 DPS players on it.
can we not
We're only
have
gonna play 2, maybe 3 of them.
Can we not have team meetings in the bedroom where three of our players sleep? Like, it's kind of weird, man. I don't know. Like,
In one bedroom where all 3 players sleep, by the
yeah,
way.
like, can we not have team meetings in there, please? Like, yeah. But, yeah. So next team, New York Excelsior. They dropped everyone. So Gangnam Jin, Onsun Jae, Ho Won, Yaki, Flora, and Kellen are all gone. And
Hi, New York.
not surprised at all, if I'm being honest.
I am a little.
Maybe a bit at Flora, because like, oh, Flora's the new captain and everything. But
That is kind of where they advertised that and then got him off.
yeah, Yaki
Couple
leaving,
extra.
not really surprised. Their supports, maybe a bit with Ho One, because I thought like they were kind of investing in him a little bit. But maybe New
Nope.
York Excelsior just goes in a different direction. Could go Western. Who knows? Maybe they get Vulcan back. Heck.
Maybe this is the AT team.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
Um,
funny.
I think the craziest part about this team is that they didn't try to keep Yaki and Kellen, which I think were the 2 biggest prospects coming out of this team this season. That you probably
I
wanted to
think Kellen will get another shot somewhere
he
because
deserves one.
of his potential as a player. Yaki, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I'm surprised that they didn't try to re-sign him or anything because like, dude, it's Yaki. Like he's going to have a spot in the league somewhere, but it wasn't
Hopefully.
really working out in New York. I don't know, man.
I think Yaki Flora on paper is
Crazy.
really strong, and
Yeah,
in practice it wasn't all that. I don't know
yeah,
what went
Crazy.
wrong for them exactly.
Crazy in like the exact opposite meaning of the word.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
But yeah. Next, let's go across Paris Eternal. So the leaves here are JMac, which was their head coach or
Head
assistant
coach.
head coach. Okay.
Head coach J-Mac.
Wub and Cry. I think they kind of like there were rumors that like this is the roster they were going to like try to go into 2023 with, which is going to be Dove, Mouthful, Luke Mino, and Rack Attack, which I think are players who all deserve a shot. Like this season wasn't really fair to them. They were kind of put in difficult situations, and I think this is a team that has a lot of potential. Like we talked about earlier, Luke Mino, one of the most flexible supports.
I really actually rate this back line.
Yeah,
I do
Rack
too.
Attack is a
They've
very
been around
strong main
forever, too.
support. Yeah, like they've been in contenders, do it up and everything. Mouthful as a flex DPS is very strong, and Dove, we saw flashes of it. When he's not, playing Tracer or something. Dove on
Oh,
hit
versus the
stands.
Spire. Woo!
Oh my gosh, yeah, like
Sojourn Gap.
Gaming.
oh dude, that yeah,
That graphic was funny though.
yeah,
So you
that,
can't do my boy like that.
That
messed
was
up.
fucked. That was fucked, but it was still kind of
Yeah.
funny that they
Is
showed
this
it.
bullying?
Might be a bit, yeah, but yeah, I am somewhat excited for this roster just
I
going
want to see them
forward.
succeed.
I hope this is a team that, I think it's kind of confirmed, but they will try to pick up a lot of NA talent and everything as
Paris has more titles than Fusion.
That's messed up. You can't do that.
I'm sorry.
Happens.
Uh, they won their only title against the Fusion.
Oh my gosh.
This could be another good home for Kaluge as well.
I could
If they're
see
willing to
it.
spend the
Yeah.
money, yeah.
Yeah. Might have.
They're
Yeah.
like a third DPS player as well. I
Again,
really
it's
like
like
watching Malthel. I think
the way
his
I think
POV is
about it
nice.
though
His
is
POV
that
is nice because, like, you know, he.
He plays aggro. He's in your face. He's
yeah,
in the
No,
back
no,
line.
you know, his camera's also in your face. You know, like just I love Melpel, but
I think it's crazy though to think about. But this has been a budget team for a while, so if they actually want to spend big this season, they can
They
get cheaper
don't.
players.
no,
I'm pretty
Will they?
sure.
no, they might
Will
just
they?
budget again.
We might just budget again, third season in a row,
Yeah,
but we'll
just
see.
because they can. So, yeah, Paris kind of excited about. So next is the Philadelphia Fusion. So we have Belisria free agent. Oh, none of these players are returning, by the way. Aim
They
God free
announced
agent.
bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fury free agent, Fixa free agent, and Carpe is retiring from Overwatch and going to Valorant. Which
The reason I want to
Oh, with the
specify
same
that
org though.
same org
T1.
yeah, same org.
and
Yeah.
Answer the thing where he retired and went to Valorant and then came back. We
Yeah.
don't know if this is like I would not surprise me with how much Carpe has gotten close to accomplishing in the league if he would come
Yeah.
back.
I agree. Yeah, I can definitely see Carpe just having like a, "Hey, I'm not supposed to be here. I belong in the Overwatch League" kind of thing.
Yes,
I
and then
think
just
what
prove that.
is very unfortunate for him was Fusion deciding to pick up the T1 DPS line of MN3 Zest, two very strong players, and you know it's not Carpe's
Outrageous and
fault
stuff.
that they're so good at the game and he just can't play.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dude, these guys were taking turns just absolutely carrying matches
yeah.
in
Actually,
the season.
Yeah, Zest just throughout the season, I felt like was just so good. I thought going in he was a Genji one trick. That's what I thought of
Yeah.
Zest.
He
And
said
from
it in
what,
the VC and we were like, really?
yeah, like
He's
I,
like,
I
yeah,
was like
yeah, yeah.
in
And then,
contenders, I was like, yeah, that's the Genji guy. He's good at Genji. Well, turns out he's good at everything.
he's
So
not just good at Genji.
yeah,
he's just good at Overwatch.
he's that guy at everything. With let's be clear, Genji I'd argue is the strongest hero, but everything is strong with Zest.
His Tracer was really fucking good too, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
MN3, you know,
Soul.
he went
MN3
hot
versus
and
Soul.
cold sometimes, but when he was hot, he looked like a top 3 DPS in the league.
Looked like a
Is it-
reskinned Shy.
like.
Is it weird
oh
for me
my
to say
gosh.
that he had a Pine season where his highs were like
Oh no,
outrageously high?
this is better than
No.
Pine.
I was
Man.
I would
Come
say his
on.
lows weren't as low, but his highs were like
Might have been
His peaks
higher.
were like top one in the league. Yeah.
Yes.
His peaks, like that game against Seoul, like I guess you could
Like,
call it the coming out
yeah.
game a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
dude, he
Wasn't that like
dominated.
right after what was it called? The first tournament?
The kickoff clash? Yeah, it was.
It's like right after Seoul had won
Yeah,
that
and
tournament.
we're looking
And then
like a strong
MN3 just comes out and demolishes them.
Yeah, this was
Yes.
Not
this was
close.
right before mid-season madness, I believe, because Seoul already clinched, and you know
It
it was
was,
the last
it
game
was.
going into the
Yep.
thing. MN3 just absolutely craps on them, and
Yeah.
it's
Destroys their confidence and Seoul goes out early in the season madness.
They get just dumbstruck.
Unlucky.
as for the Fusion players who left, Belisria, I'm not sure if he will be on another team. I thought he did okay for a player who was kind of picked up close to the season start. Aim God, I think Aim God wasn't their intended flex support for the season, but he was serviceable-ish for them.
Yeah.
Fury, I think Fury can maybe have a spot in the league still as like a second tank somewhere. He's obviously like one of the most decorated players in Overwatch League history, but you know it's time's catching up kind of quick. New players are coming in. There's a lot of strong players in the league, and then Fixa. I thought Fixa was okay for them last season, but
Sleep on Shy.
yeah, he's just a good player. I thought he was also really flexible when he needed to go to the flex supports and everything. I'd be interested to see him still in the league, but
I will say this
yeah.
backline overperformed my expectations, but my expectations were really low going into the
Yeah.
Yeah,
season.
Yeah.
actually. They look like a little above average support line in the league
But yeah,
I'd say
to me.
maybe average, slightly below average, like 11th, 12th in the
no,
league.
bottom 50, if bottom 5. We've talked about this, guys. Come on.
Okay, well,
Okay.
we're just trying to praise them a little bit, stroke
Okay.
the ego.
Okay, you know what?
What
Okay,
if they're
okay.
watching? What if they're watching,
Oh, okay,
What
okay.
if they're
You know what?
watching?
Fine. What if
Yeah,
they're watching?
I think everyone in the league is top 10.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's really nice of you.
so based.
As for, the Fusion team, I'd be interested to see if they pick up some T1 players. Not really too sure. I know Cleston, is back in contenders on T1, and he's even played Reaper as a tank player, so, could be a
So
thing.
this is just
Bumper
confirmation that Reaper's a tank.
Yeah, Reaper's a tank, yeah, confirmed.
based.
They
Oh,
also-
Unique's on that team as well.
yeah, unique, and, he's been grinding in contenders, so. Yeah. The next team is the San Francisco Shock, coming off that second place. So the players they said bye to are Striker, Kaluge, Mikey, Sam, and Kasaurus, their assistant coach, is leaving. Honestly, the one player I'd say I'm surprised at leaving is Kaluge, just because of how flexible of a tank he is. And I know he came into the Shock kind of short notice. He's definitely earned a
He
spot in the
showed
league
why.
for next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're not out here wondering if he's going to find a home. We're looking at where
Where?
he's going to find a
Yeah,
home.
where Sam, I thought Sam actually showed a lot of flashes. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunate because, whatever
Benched
Sam's
by
good at,
Proper, what are you going to
there's a
do?
proper, like, what can you do?
I can totally see Sam getting signed to
To where?
Atlanta.
Atlanta,
I
I
could
could see.
see it,
One of those
yeah.
teams.
I could see Vancouver with Aspire.
I could
Mhm.
see Titans getting like a bunch of these players that are free agents and then just underperforming like Titans usually do.
Yeah.
Tough.
Genuinely.
Mikey, it'd be cool to see Mikey in the league. I'm not too sure. I think his performance in playoffs really helps his case potentially if he wants to go to another team. I'm not sure if he's LFT. I know Sam and Kaluge are, and I know Striker
Mikey
is.
is.
Okay, Mikey
Hold
is.
on.
I
I'm
hope he
pretty
gets
sure.
another shot. He kind of redeemed himself after some questionable regular season performances, despite the hot start and everything. And Striker, I know that Platchat kind of talked about it, but Striker's like reformed. Like he's a good teammate,
Apparently
not
he's
toxic and everything.
yeah.
And I'd be interested to see him in the league again to tilt on a team and go back to the Shock. Just the reliable.
I just don't know if he's actually off the shock because the here like him and Ant have done this thing where they leave the shock and come back.
Oh, I mean,
So
yeah. So, not sure yet.
I don't know if he's, but I feel like he's best suited to succeed on the shock, which is why I think he's most likely to go back to personally.
Yeah, he's
I agree
always
with that.
performed well under Krusty.
Yeah,
Very
with
well.
Krusty.
One
So
thing that's a little bit interesting is Kasaurus getting dropped.
I
And I think
think
that might be because he's looking for a head coach
I
position.
agree with that. I think he is going to be a head coach somewhere. Just
Maybe on Vancouver
could be.
with
Yeah,
That'd be actually
DK
a good
departing.
shout.
yeah, and
Uh,
he brings Sam along there.
I can
Makes
see
sense
that
now.
or him going to the Rain and replacing Seppi.
mhm.
Could be.
If
Yeah.
they
He
choose
he
to
Either
used
of
to be
those I would be really
he
interested
He
used
in.
to
was
be
an
with the
assistant
rain.
coach.
He used to be
Yeah.
for with the rain. So
Yeah, that's where he got started.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So
Well, it
either of them
started
wouldn't
in the
surprise me.
Overwatch League. He was
Yeah.
technically on Young and Beautiful before then. So yeah, ratio. But yeah, they still have
Okay.
they still have proper Kilo, Violet, and Finn. You kept
Mm.
proper, so
Proper's a
Dub.
solid core to build around.
proper. That's honestly the best player in the league to build around. Yeah.
Actually.
Keeping Kilo. I think Kilo was kind of forced into like uncomfortable positions last year, and he's kind of like a confidence-driven player. So, picking up another DPS would obviously help them. And then this backline, Violet Finn. There are rumors like, yeah, there's really good players on O2 that they might be looking at, but
Yeah.
this is a really good backline. I don't see them picking up
You
anyone
see,
else if both
even
are motivated to return. Like
what is his name?
return.
Bliss on O2?
Bliss,
Is
yes,
that this? I can see him getting picked up, but I don't see him like who do you bench then? I don't want to
yeah,
bench Violet on flex support unless it's an Ana meta, but then if you're benching Finn, it feels like criminal.
yeah. Like it's just tough. And Bliss, by the way, has been pounding Korean contenders
Bliss
since
is
like
really good.
he was like 13 or 14. He's been
He's doing
destroying
a sugar
Korean
free.
contenders forever. It feels like, and
He is doing a sugar free
yeah, who Sugar Free is also going to be eligible for
this
uh
season.
this season. Yeah,
Finally.
yeah, finally.
Kids
But
graduated college and sugar free's of age finally.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I know that the rumors are like, Max and Heesing, which would be absolutely disgusting if Shock got both of them. And,
Oh yeah.
they have the partnership.
As an instant title contender.
Like,
They get first dibs, but they
yeah,
can get outbid in other
they can
teams.
get outbid,
Mhm.
Yeah,
as well as they don't have to buy out the contracts if they
yeah.
sign those players. But um, I know we were talking about like, yeah, Proper was the best player in Korean contenders. Probably
Was not anymore.
Now he's
yeah,
just the best player in
yeah. Now he's just
Overwatch.
the best
Yeah.
player. Right next to him though, honestly, like ahead of guys like MN3 and Alfie and them, like it was he was that guy. He was him,
Yeah.
and he is also a hyperflex. Like that's absolutely
Two
ridiculous to me.
hyperflexes and Kilo on hit scan. Like I'm
Yeah.
down for that.
Yeah, as well as
God damn.
I know that like Avril has talked about it, but Max might be the most sought after player in general out
Mhm.
of Overwatch free agency and everything. So it'd be very interesting to see if he goes to the Shock. That'd be great for Shock. I know that
I think they want him
I mean,
the most.
I
I
think
think he's
20 teams want Max, if I'm being honest here. But I think that I know Kalush tweeted something like, "Yeah, Max might be the best like tank prospect coming in," and it's just like,
yeah.
also signs point to, hey, we're preparing like this so that Max can come in and be our tank. So it'd be nuts if they got them, yeah. But yeah, the Shock
Until it's
roster,
announced, it's
and
just a hopeful dream, you know?
it's just a rumor, yeah. Seoul Dynasty is the next team. No
Nothing.
changes that we can tell for now. I'm
Nobody's
not
unlocking
aware of
anything there.
the contract status for the players either. If
Radio silence from them.
if they wanted to run it back, just same players, same coaches, everything. I honestly like. You could say like in the playoffs, it was a bit of a disappointment based on how dominant they were during the regular season. But I do think that this team is still very, very solid. You have Vindame, who won't be a rookie anymore, as well as Stalker. Profit literally is showing no signs of slowing down whatsoever, as well as Smurf. So it's like,
Yeah. They have great players on all their roles. It's just
yeah,
maybe you hit a different meta next season and it's a little
yeah,
bit more favorable for you.
unlucky meta potentially. Uh, yeah, anything on the Dynasty? I don't like not much from them.
For their sake, I hope they keep Smurf and Profit.
I
As a
agree.
duo,
Yeah,
they've been lights out the whole season.
I'm gonna assume just Profit's a free agent because he's been on that team's 2 years. So
yeah,
it seems like reasonable for his contract to be up. They should chase him because Profit does Profit things
I'm
yeah,
pretty
consistently.
sure Profit wanted to play for Seoul, so I think it
Yeah,
wouldn't be a hard ask to get him back.
yeah.
but this has been the first season where playoff Profit hasn't really been the difference maker.
Well, he's on Reaper.
Well,
There's only
besides
so much you can do on Reaper.
and Kiriko, besides last season, I
Okay,
guess,
buddy.
which last season, got eliminated by Philly before playoffs.
Mhm. I
Ah,
feel like if Seoul
Institution
ends up on the other side of the bracket, they might end up top four.
potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was quite
It's a bit of an
unfortunate.
unlucky
You go
tournament because
from
I know
Feel
they.
into the Shock, who have just defeated the Dragons, which were probably the second best team from APAC considering the whole season, as well as the Glads, which were probably like the best team in the first half of the season. So it's like
Yeah.
they were on a roll.
I know Seoul and Glads were the two teams that really stuck onto the Tracer in scrims going into playoffs, and they had to switch to Reaper last minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So unlucky there. Maybe you just run it back.
yeah. If Smurf were to leave, though, Breck with the Shock wouldn't mind that, Yeah. If they get out, they don't
Not
mind.
biased, by the way.
Not biased, by the way. Yeah,
I
I have
thought
a
this might be
neutral
a.
Overwatch shirt on. That's
I thought it might be a power move. Could you imagine if Shock just made like a money bag play and just threw money at why did I just forget his name? Hanbin. Could you just imagine if Shock just threw the fucking bag at Hanbin, said come play for us? That team
look,
just gets
look, look.
crazy.
All I'm saying, I'm not against that at all.
Money
If
bags move.
Hey, if you reach into Andy Miller's pockets and you end up with a roster of like Hanbin Smurf, proper lip,
okay, okay. Oh, dude. Oh my God. Okay, you're just
I
that's how
spending
you
was I was
that's how
gonna
you
bring
buy
it
a
up.
championship.
I was gonna
That's how
bring
you
it
do
up.
it.
energy to
Do
the
you wanna?
top, literally.
I'll bring it up in the next part about Lip, because the next team is
Yeah,
Shanghai, correct?
let's talk about Shanghai. So we have Fate, a free agent. Void is retiring. Bebe's a free agent. Lip's under contract. Who Are You's a free agent. Flood is a free agent. Izzyaki
Team out.
is a team
So
option in Lee Ji-gon. I'm pretty sure they're both getting picked up. I'm not sure
um,
though.
Team option
they
accepted means they're re-signed.
Okay,
well,
okay.
the thing is, they didn't say if it was accepted or declined.
Didn't they?
I
They
thought
didn't
I thought they said it was team
on
option
their.
selected.
I don't believe so. I can check the tweet real quick because
Yeah,
I know under the tweet they said all the free agents and then proceeded to thread the tweet with a bunch of farewell posts to all the free agents.
I'm pretty sure
Shanghai.
they have the backline and lip. Well, besides Bebe.
Oh, it doesn't state if it's accepted. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. DJ's right. Okay.
they
But
just, they just didn't
Okay.
say.
it hasn't been stated yet. Like Fleta's option was declined, right? So
Yeah,
I believe.
washed.
I know that Fates was declined as well.
Hmm.
yeah, Izzyaki and Lee Jae-gon's not being declined yet. I mean, I'd want to hang on to that back line. It's a pretty good back line, but yeah, let's talk about this. So Fate, I think Fate could play somewhere else still. He's been in Overwatch League since its inception.
He's always had success too,
He has
everywhere he
always
goes.
had success. Like, I don't think it's a surprise that Florida's most successful season being 2020. Like, literally the difference between their roster between seasons was Fate leaving. Like, and
Hmm.
you saw what that did to them. Like, Fate's just a very solid player and has been his whole career. So, yeah.
Yep.
It's sad not to see him play with Moon again, but, things happen. I think he can still do it though. So, yeah. Void
That's very possible.
retiring. Void has been in the Overwatch scene forever. It feels like.
2019, I think, right?
Void has been here
No,
since
no, no, no.
Apex.
Longer, yeah. Since like Apex
Void's
with
been
like
here since
Kongdu
day one.
Panthera, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Was he?
yeah. He was on
yeah.
the
Void's
team
been
with
here since
like
day one.
Birdring and Rascal and everything. Like
Oh,
he's been here forever
proper
with
old
like
head.
Fissure and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, like.
Dude, he
Uh,
was on 2018 Gladiators, and that was a power play. I
Right,
remember
yeah.
that.
yeah.
He's doing Glads.
But yeah, Void, miss ya.
One of
Debatably
the,
one of the a top three off tank of all time. I think it's
yeah.
not debatable really. So,
The
yeah,
thing about him too is that I'm assuming he would have continued to play, but he's only retiring for military service.
yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Bebe, who played in double flex support metas for them. Uh, I'm not sure if Bebe will go to another team, like, but he was the double flex support substitution for.
Caliber of player in the league, I don't think he will.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players. Lip, you gotta keep Lip if you're Shanghai.
You want to punch for him.
That is the guy you want to build around. If Lip asks for out, that's the worst scenario for your team. That is a top 3 player in the league, and
I'll say Lip is the only guy where I'm like, maybe Proper isn't the best player in the league.
I'd agree with that
Uh,
actually.
I
Lip
don't. I think
Lip has had some crazy performances.
Yeah,
His Sojourn stats, first at everything.
yeah.
I was thinking again because we're talking about Soul. Lip to Soul frightens me
Oh,
because
that scares me. Don't
that
do
is
that.
just
Yeah.
if you can't beat them, join them. And Fitz is not the problem with that team, but if Lip is on that team, Fitz will be the problem on.
Yeah.
It's just a catastrophic upgrade, you know?
Imagine having
Yeah.
just 2 roll stars just as your DPS line. That's ridiculous.
Casually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what Shanghai had with Flood and Lip, and look what happened there. Lol.
Yeah.
You have a
Lip will
hyper
continue to
flex.
pound until he retires.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a
This
hyper
guy is too
flex.
good.
But Lip wasn't even really known before, actually, was he?
No.
Uh,
He was on like some middling Korean contenders team.
yeah, he was on some Korean contenders. Dude, he was on a team with Ons before.
Yeah, and they were not doing very good. They
Yeah.
were like a very
Yeah, I
mid.
remember. And then they find him on Soul Dynasty as a Sombra player, and they win a championship off his Sombra, and like, wow, this guy's one of the best Sombras in the league. And I was thinking going into like this season, is he going to be able to play Hitskin at a top level? And he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Categorically,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
The only rival for Shy in APAC.
Yeah.
Only one who came close.
I mean,
Yeah. And I think he
M3 at
surpassed Shy,
times, to
in
be
my
honest.
opinion.
On an
Yeah.
individual level,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
I
yeah.
think you have like a
Same.
very clear S tier of DPS, and it's Proper, Lip, Kevster, Shy.
And so for
And
Sojourn, it's no. Yeah,
just
continue,
like
continue.
DPS in
Yeah.
general, I think those guys are so good. And Lip is like definitely at the top of that list for me.
Yeah. Like Proper and then Lip. It's
Yeah.
ooh, yikes.
Like there's a
Even
reason
Kevster,
Proper,
dude,
Lip, Kevster were my first 3. I
Dude.
think those are the best 3 in the league.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue. Dude, Kevster's so good. Oh my god.
They're also good, yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
But yeah. Lip, who are you is a free agent.
Nowhere.
he
I don't
it's
think he goes anywhere.
dude, it feels like he's been in Overwatch forever. He's only 21 though.
He has.
He's really not that old cuz he's
Yeah.
been pounding since, he
Dude.
was
He is Genji
he is
He
getting
was
in
a-
real life.
He was on Fusion University with Zachary.
yeah.
Throwback.
He's been on like he's played since what, like Apex Season 1. Like, oh my
Yes.
goodness. This guy's played
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad to see.
I feel like he's always played Genji.
yeah, that's
He
has.
interesting.
Genji Pharah.
He is the Genji guy.
He's the original like projectile DPS player. The original like S
Dude.
tier 1.
Yeah.
His neutral game on Genji is just so clean.
It stayed that way for
Yeah.
somehow for so long.
Yeah. Fleta being a free agent, I think Fleta, if he wants to play, will 100% get picked up by someone else. I don't think his 2022 was the greatest, but just
Mark
based
my
off
words.
of what we've seen, like, from like what old boomerate, like Flash Lux, I guess. He can still carry, I guess. I don't know.
He has a term in Overwatch named after him, the Fleta
yeah,
deadlift.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mark my words, he's going to Toronto. Calling
There's
it right now.
no way.
Listen.
I think he stays in APAC, but maybe.
I think Toronto's gonna do what they've done. We're gonna build around you, man. They're gonna sign Fleta, get a solid team around him, look average, and he's gonna be the first to go on the off season. First out of here.
Man.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, they dropped Damon and Pavane from their
Pavane. Oh
Pavane.
my
Pavane.
goodness.
Yeah, I don't know how
Come
you say
on.
the coach names, but yeah, they're gone.
My
Moon is
coach
still there.
Moon.
Yeah, Moon is still there, which
Is
is
this like a crusty situation where he got worse results without like 9K? I say worse results because it was technically worse, but it was from a first place to a fourth place.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
So I
It's
guess we'll
very
see.
hard to tell who in the coaching staff is actually like doing stuff and like what
Most
are they
valuable
doing.
coach,
I mean,
unless it's
I
like
mean to be fair, Shuck's first season without 9K, they kind of won it all. So yeah,
It's not the worst,
I
you know.
mean they still had Junk Buck, you know. Then they lost Junk Buck, and it's like, oh, you lost two of the Infinity Stones. Yikes! You get one of
yeah.
them back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lee Jigon and Ziyaki, we kind of talked about them. It'd be cool to see them on a team, like back with them. But if not, you know, that's their decision. And yeah,
They definitely get picked up elsewhere in the league.
yeah, they 100% both of them. If they want to continue playing Overwatch, they will. And then yeah, Damien and
New backline for
Pavan.
Toronto.
Okay, no, yeah, they're following the Fleta. Holy moly,
Listen, Toronto is gonna sign a Shanghai player. They're gonna this offseason.
that
Could
is
totally see Toronto picking up Who Are You? That seems like something Toronto would do.
That is such a Toronto play.
okay. Anyways, yeah. So next we have the Toronto Defiant. Hisu's a free agent. Twilight's a free agent. Moby Dick and Yang One, both coaches, are gone. You know, Moby Dick kind of stepped up after, you know, the KDG stuff.
Mhm.
Is
I've
that
heard he's respected by the players, which is nice.
yeah?
Very.
Which is, you know, you love to see it. Do they have any other drops?
That's all they've released publicly, to my knowledge.
I'm pretty sure a lot of their players are like LFT. Like I 100% although 100% said something about it.
Well, Wikipedia ain't gonna help you because it still says Jesus on the squad.
Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah. But
I'll check their Twitter. There's probably a bunch of LFT players, but
yeah, there's a lot of LFT players. Honestly, I'd take it as I wouldn't put anyone as a like a definite return. I know Chorong's LFT, and that was surprising to me very a lot because Chorong as a player coming into the league, you know, was a very sought after main support, and for him to potentially go somewhere else after a solid rookie year, like that'd be kind of crazy. If Hoppo
Well,
wants
I
to run it
mean,
back, that'd be cool.
he is getting a bag and a half.
He is getting a bag, yeah.
I don't know if Toronto wants to pay him the full bag
Potentially,
again.
yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't say any of these players are really confirmed to return. So it's hard to judge them off that basically. But of the players we know, Twilight's been playing forever since like he's been playing as long as Who Are You has
yeah,
in Apex and
He's
crazy
been a
everything.
player.
top tier flex support the whole time.
Yeah, for like
Yeah,
BK stars and everything. If Twilight still wanted to play, he definitely could still play in the Overwatch League. He's like 25 years old or something though. He's kind of up there for an
I think
esport.
he's LFT.
Yeah, he is
he
LFT
is.
though. So
I think it's LFT that I just want to win. So
yeah,
he has that grind still.
yeah.
Mhm.
Hisu will be picked up by someone. There like there's no chance. Hisu is a very talented player, and it'd be a shame to not see him in the Overwatch League. Hoppa, I know Hoppa's, there were rumors like Hoppa might retire. If Hoppa wants to run it back, though, I think he 100% deserves another chance, just based off of. He's played on a different team, it feels like, every year. Well, he literally has, right? Like, just on a different team. He played for Fusion twice in 2 different years, but, uh,
Yeah,
yeah, Hoppa is a very strong player. Chorong is LFT, so Chorong might go somewhere else.
Mhm.
Muse honestly, like besides the Doomfist stuff, he hasn't looked too solid this year or last year. And I mean they kind of just wanted to ride with Hoppa, so I kind of get it, but
Mhm.
kind of
I was really
unfortunate.
surprised not to see him in the playoffs.
I mean,
As was
didn't they
I.
play him for a little bit and then they were just
Yeah,
like,
and then they locked the hotba.
yeah, they lost Hoppa. Finale did have moments as well as although I think they're both kind of the same in that two flex DPS players who might be able to be in the league next season. We will see though. So yeah,
Hmm.
and let's see. Next is Vancouver. We talked about DP leaving, Moss is retiring, and Mir is a free agent now as a tank. But yeah, the Vancouver Titans. We kind of talked about Sam potentially maybe being a guy who joins here. It could be a destination for American Tornado players, you know, Canadian
Yeah,
Tornado.
American Tornado plus Casaurus. Be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
like just theorying a bit,
Yeah.
you know.
There's
It
lots of cool things that this franchise could do. Like
Yeah.
the options are pretty endless right now.
yeah, like they have Aspire's a very strong hit scan. They have King, you know, who showed flashes last season. They still have Skyrip and Aztec, and you know both of them are solid players. I think Skyrip is just such an underrated player who never really got too much of a fair chance this season. And then False is one of those like he's with that American Tornado group, you know, so he could stay around, but they would probably want to pick up another tank just to secure the tank position, I guess.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And finally, we have the Washington Justice. The pieces they lost as a coach. How do you pronounce it? Chilhua.
I
Chilhua.
think so.
I don't
I
know.
think it's Chilhua.
And then as well as Pre, who is on the Boston Uprising now. So, yeah, Washington. I think all of their players are LFT. I saw opener at least LFT, I believe. And honestly, anyone on this team can be in the league next season. It's just I'm not really sure which teams
I just
exactly.
see you. Opener is LFT, but he's still in talks with the Justice. So
Okay, okay. Kalios is a very flexible tank, so
very.
I can see him returning to league potentially. Opener did have a pretty good rookie season. Like I think he surpassed a lot of people's expectations. Krillin
Yeah.
as well surpassed expectations. You know, people thought like, oh, he's the temporary guy for Vigilante, but
Yeah,
Krillin
he
really
was
did
not.
pop off. Yeah,
He was, but
Well, he was,
he was
but
really. He was, but he was really.
okay, he was, but you know,
He
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 did
made
still
his
pop
popped
name.
off.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you got Assassin and Decay. Decay can join another team. Uh,
I'm a
Will he
big
though?
Assassin fan, to be honest. I
Assassin,
like how he plays.
To
Assassin's such a
me,
good player. I feel.
Assassin's really Assassin's really good. To me, the K seems like another Otto situation where he's really talented, but will not. Doesn't seem like he'll find a team that'll work for him.
Yeah, story of Decay's career.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like what teams can't he join? Can't join Fuel because you know, yeah. Can't join Boston because that Crimso guy's there. Can't join. I don't know. Glad's again.
Glads,
Well,
I doubt he'll go back to the Glads.
I doubt he. I mean, kind of like the Glads. I don't know if he wants to return. You know, decayed Kevster plus someone
But
else. Oh, sheesh.
they have to have much bigger aspirations if they dropped Happy and we're gonna pick up the K for hit scan.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
they
The
want championship.
Decay's another hyperflex. Decay plays anything
Mhm.
as long as he's able to sometimes play the Tracer. I think Decay's fine playing whatever. But yeah, that's our uh
All the
long
teams.
We wanted to hit with a
briefly.
smooth transition. We could say, Glad's dropping their hit scan position. Who might they be interested
Who
in?
Well,
is a good hit scan player who is
Hmm.
considering coming back to playing Overwatch?
well, there is someone
Perhaps
who
some
is
unretirements?
LFT who maybe
Oh,
was on the Glads for a little bit, got to play with Kevster, you know, has that
yeah.
synergy. So, yeah, could be someone like that.
Something,
Someone's a tank player
government
though.
drone.
Oh.
It's Bird Ring,
Yeah,
guys.
It's Birdring.
holy
It's
moly.
Birdring.
Yeah,
Let's.
Birdring is LFT. I think that's the big one out of all the like players coming out of retirement.
I
There's a
think that's
few.
one of them, but there are some. There are some
The
names.
the biggest one of
Maybe,
Uh,
yeah.
um,
I don't know. There's gonna be
I
some
don't.
fans for the ones lower on our
yeah,
list.
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
don't know.
That's what I'm
Dude,
saying.
okay, so the second
Let's
one, not biased by the way, Erster is looking for a team as a tank.
I think
That's
that's crazy. At
yeah.
Rain fan, I have a fucking account named Durster. Guy was crazy on the flex DPS. I'm interested because I forgot I followed him on fucking Twitter, and I opened it one day and just saw LFTOWL as tank, and I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah. But
So I just kind of felt I had to.
I forgot who it was, but like there was it might have been Gumba. I'm not sure, but it was kind of like yeah, because of how mechanically gifted DPS players are, them transitioning to other roles isn't really like unheard of. Like it's a thing that they can do. We saw it with Dante literally, like,
Mhm.
you know,
We saw it with Teru as well.
yeah, we saw it with Teru.
He
It
wasn't
has
even a
happened.
particularly top tier DPS,
Yeah.
but
We've
he's
seen
looked
it
pretty
like
good on the support in Korean
Uh
contenders.
just
with
historically.
with O2
Like
Blast, they did it with Babel. Like he's a flex
you
support and he's kind of insane now.
want a real throwback? McGravy used to be a DPS player. McGravy and
Yeah.
Dante swapped.
No.
Architect picked up the Ana, you know.
Yeah.
He did.
Nevix used to be a DPS player.
Okay,
And
let's
who's the
stop.
best Zarya of all time? Yeah, it's a DPS player.
Well, okay, Zarya is not a real tank.
Zarya is a tank DPS.
It's a DPS with 400 HP in Overwatch
Yeah.
1.
Yeah,
Um.
Yeah,
Zarya is.
Yeah. So
that's okay though.
suiting because Carpe's gone, but DM is back because gotta have one of Carpe DM in the league. Uh,
Yeah.
DM LFT. I think it's I think it was unfair to him that he shared a team with Lip because
It was
he
also unlucky because he was never the issue when he was playing, but he never won
but the
when he was
win
in.
rates, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was tragic.
I don't know what happened. His teammate just decided not to try.
And
when
then
when he was
Yeah.
literally.
I'll kind of group the last three together because honestly,
Mhm.
they kind of come from the same background. Slime, Haxel, and Bumper are
The
all
Bumzo.
LFT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
Bumper, one of the more entertaining Reinhardts to ever play the game.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say
I
about him. He's
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Bumper finds a team.
he's a bit of a
Yeah,
lunatic, but
it might be one of those
Hey,
situations where it's just
you
like
know,
yeah.
there's a team known as the Toronto Defiant.
Holy moly, no. Yeah, it's Toronto Defiant. It's just old Vancouver Titans plus
How
Fleta.
much? How much hype did
uh,
that bring that org though? If they just like start bringing
a
together half
lot.
the
A lot
exactly.
actually.
I don't know,
That
man.
gives them so
Look,
many
look, look, look,
fans.
look. What do they do for flex support? They literally just got rid of Twilight. It's kind of
Yeah.
one of the pieces for that
Hey,
team.
you know,
Yeah, they
another
could
team
sign him
just
back.
drop
They
their
could sign him
flex
back.
support. They could sign him back, or they could sign, Lee Jae Gong,
Yeah.
Izayaki. Those
Yeah.
two guys are
Oh
free
yeah.
agents.
How about okay? How about the tank though? What do they? You're not going to have bumper solo tank. I refuse. That is not a thing.
Get Johnny out
Fury
of
is a free
retirement.
agent.
Yeah, get
Fury's
John.
a free agent.
If,
To me, this seems so in character for Toronto, though. To just sign
Yeah,
these
it
are you
is.
just
good.
memeing on Toronto?
No,
So
no, they've
is.
done this historically, where they just sign these names that are like worth money, and then depreciate them.
Yeah, they buy when the stocks are high and they sell when the stocks are low.
Literally, literally. Look what they did to my man Twilight. Twilight went from
I
the
still
champ.
rate Twilight.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do too,
I
but
still rate Twilight.
I do
Yeah.
too, but you cannot say he is the same caliber of player going into Toronto
Yeah,
than he is when he went out.
I think
Same with
more
Hisu.
appropriately would be Hisu, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dude.
these players don't look bad, and
The
I
thing is,
remember.
I want to like Toronto, man.
I do too. I do
Their
too.
colors are so nice.
Yeah, black and red.
Yeah,
Like
so
S tier
fire.
color
They have
scheme.
such a like their org and like their socials and everything. It's so clean.
Yeah,
They're
it's
such a good
crispy.
franchise. Yeah, you know
Dude, think about it.
They just gotta win games, bro.
they had
Think
that like
about
be a
season
defiant
2.
player for a game for a day thing where like yeah you're all going to do scrims and everything. You know, come to the facility. It's the Dell thing, whatever. Like, dude, that's such a cool franchise, man.
Yeah, I will say at least they're trying, man. At least they're
Yeah,
trying.
yeah. You know, keeping it interesting for the fans to get, 12th in the Overwatch League every year.
But think about it. They picked up Sato after he had like a crazy season.
Yeah.
Where's he? Where is he?
Let me open up the Toronto Defiant page real
That's what
quick.
I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking
Oh
at.
my
They
god.
picked up Aspire. Aspire's look good though.
Logix. Nice.
Nice.
Dude, Nice was looking so hot in the contenders. Man.
Org is so good at this.
Mhm. Aztec is now like on
Lastro was on
Vancouver.
them. Lastro was on their team.
Surefour. Yeah.
Kariv,
Yeah.
dude, this hurts.
Mhm.
Dude, look at their 2019 former players. Neko, who was like coming off of that crazy season with Boston.
Yeah.
Ivy, who then left and popped off on the Fusion.
Yeah. Ivy
Yakpung,
was
who then
so good on Fusion
Yakpung, who went back to contenders and popped
and
off that
pounded,
game in New
yeah.
York. I'm
I'm
37, who look.
37.
He speedran the path to Owl.
I
Okay,
don't
this
want to
is
look at
a
this anymore.
huge throwback, but remember Gods?
Oh gods, oh my
Gods
god.
was
I
fun.
liked him.
Yeah.
That was a good player.
Didn't they also have
This
like they had some play who was that? Fucking Zick? Does anyone remember
Zick.
Zick? Or
Zick
No.
came in to bench
Rocky?
agilities.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was like a 30-day contract, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, on May, right?
they just continued to get extended.
Yeah. I remember he popped off on May, I think.
It was a
And
14
then
day,
they were
then a
like,
30
well, we
day,
can
and then
offer
a
you more contracts, huh?
yep. I think it was a 14 day, then a 30 day, then another 30 day, and then they signed him at the end of the season, and then dropped him once the season ended. It's
Yeah.
like
Anyways.
they also then dropped Beast and then signed him again for him to ride the bench the entire season.
Alright,
Yeah.
anyways.
They also straight up ruined what's it called? KDG's
Reputation.
entire
Okay.
reputation.
To be fair, KDG did that to himself, okay?
He did, but
He
also
did.
like
Wait, hold on. Look at
it
Mag
is
when he
on brand. It is
look
on
at
brand.
Mag before he came to that team. Uh Toronto Defiant,
Hmm.
one of the most orgs of all time.
One of
They
the
almost
orgs in the Overwatch League.
they almost won something this season too, which is kind of scary to think about.
They were never beating Dallas, let's be honest.
No, but they came close, like
They came
placement
close, yeah.
wise.
They did.
That's
Close
the closest they've
enough.
ever come to a title.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's enough of the Defiant rant. Yeah, that is episode 8 of the
What was it? 127?
Full Cab podcast.
147, I think, is what we said.
147.
Oh,
Okay.
episode
Or
147.
8, whichever comes first.
Or 8.
This is over 2.5 hours, so good
Only?
luck.
Shout out.
Well, hey, Nacho's the one who's gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah,
Not
you know,
me.
this is Nacho's problem.
Well, I'm not
now.
doing the timestamps.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either.
Miss me
so-
with that.
So,
Nacho's gonna have to watch it then.
oh yeah, so
Yeah,
sub,
he'll
like,
enjoy it.
comment, sub, and subscribe.
Yeah, and don't forget to sub.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on. Before we go, one more time.
this is my Twitter.
This is my Twitter. Follow my Twitter. Hold on, I'll do you one better. This
Uh-oh.
is my Instagram. Follow that as well.
You can find me at www.com/twitch. I stream maybe once a year.
Once a year, where do you stream?
on www.com/Twitch or YouTube.
Or youtube.com/YouTube
Yeah.
or youtube.com/Twitch.
I think I've streamed on YouTube like 3 or 4 times this year, and on Twitch once, maybe
Okay.
twice.
This is my Pokemon Go friend code. Fuck, it's bright. It's 2579 6284 7956. Add me on Pokemon Go. That's all I can pull out. That's all I can pull out.
But yeah, any last comments? I don't know what to talk about now.
I think this is where we put the
Um,
outro.
Okay.
Do we need some outro music? A, B, C,
C
D,
D
E,
E
F,
F
G.
Hey,
G
we're gonna get
How I
demonetized.
wonder what you are. Oh,
LMNIHILEG.
one more thing before we go. Oh, after after the grand final day, we went to this pizza place, right? A little bit of story time to end off the episode, right?
story time is totally
Yeah,
So
worth
we're
it.
walking there and we're like,
yeah.
oh,
Tired of
because we were
shit.
deciding on what restaurant we want to go to, and we're like, oh, let's just get pizza. As long as we don't have
I,
pineapple or
I
mushrooms on
specifically
the
said
pizza.
Yeah, DJ
no
was like,
pineapple, no mushroom.
Yeah, yeah. And we're all like, bet. Except for one guy. Who?
One guy.
This blue character. Ah.
yeah,
And so he's like, you know what? I'll actually get my own like small pizza. And we're like, okay, whatever. He
Okay,
goes up and he
haha.
gets mushroom pineapple pizza with
Only mushroom pineapple.
with white sauce.
and the white sauce, you can't forget the white sauce.
And we were like, this is pretty pretty
Yeah,
hard commit to a meme, bro.
Yeah.
It's just a joke, all right?
okay.
No, he has proof from 2017 in Discord where he said his favorite pizza is mushroom and pineapple. And we're like, what are the odds, bro?
Man's a psychopath over
DJ just
here.
out of nowhere. Yeah, as long as no mushroom or pineapple. And I'm kind of like, well, I don't
That
want.
sounds good.
I
Huh?
I don't want the pizza then. Like if it doesn't have one of them.
Can we get a
Man.
pizza with one slice with white sauce, mushroom, and pineapple? That's all on that one slice. That's the
Yeah.
blue slice.
But
Uh,
additionally, despite not sleeping in the same bed, L5 and I share a brain cell now. Don't know how it happened.
it's tough, man.
Yeah, like there will be
What about
times
here?
where like we'll be both
Like,
talking and then say the
yeah,
exact
and we
same
finish
thing.
each other's.
Pizzas.
Yeah, well, I'm
Not
not
with
gonna
not
finish your
with your kind of
pizza.
pizza.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Well, I'm not going to finish yours. I don't want pepperoni and jalapenos. That sounds disgusting.
Dude, that was so fire.
That was a great pizza, though.
Dude, you thought that was fire? Try a mushroom
I did.
pineapple.
I think that's
This
where we
is-
end our episode
This
on
was
that
my town
note.
hall in Clash of Clans.
Good luck, Nacho. All right.
Good luck, Nacho.
Yeah, happy birthday, money guy.
Mhm.
Happy birthday,
You
Money
too,
Guy. Shout
man.
out to Money Guy.